Hello, welcome to number 3 in the 3rd series of the Ricky Gervais Show. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And of course, Karl Pilkington.
Alright.
Had a good week, Karl?
Alright, just boring. It's a boring week. Because that sort of kidney operation I've had, it's just affected my life in a big way.
How are you now, Karl? Are you feeling better?
Better than what was last week.
Because last week you really were not putting the effort in, were you?
And it's your own fault. You know, you got kidney stones, you don't drink enough water.
That's what I've been doing this week. Just drinking. You said what sort of week have you had? What have you been up to? That's what I've done. I've drank water. That's all I've been doing. If there's a water shortage in London, it's because of that. Honestly, that's what you have to do. It's just boring. It's like a basking shark. Just sort of with its mouth open, just going through the water. Getting sick of it.
Oh, he's led the life of plankton for 1 week.
Have you been able to do anything, or have you just been resting?
It's best to rest. Just because, your body's still in shock, even though in the head, physically, I thought it was alright. The body sort of just acts in weird ways.
Brilliant.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Like I said last week, you don't think about your body until there's something up with it. And then you panic a bit. And then you go, right, I'm going to look after it from now on. I've been given a second chance here.
As I said before, this was not a life-threatening illness or operation.
No, but it's that same thing. The last time I had it was when I nearly choked to death on the Mr. Freeze pop.
Right.
Where I had that sort of, what do they call it when you have like a second coming? Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing where
I don't think you're the second coming.
No, but that thing of...
If you are, we're all screwed.
You mean the second chance?
Yeah, it's a second chance thing.
Your life flashes before you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you get you suddenly feel kinder. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
You sort of go, right, that was a bit of a warning. Be
like
good,
Scrooge?
Be good to people and stuff. Yeah, a little bit. I think it's normal.
So are you now a nicer person? You've given more generously to charity and the like?
Well, they haven't been out, so I can't do anything. I can't help anyone.
Go online and...
But maybe, once...
Donate some money, all this cash you're in.
No, I've given enough money away. Sick of it. But,
he's changed.
So he hasn't changed at all then, no?
But you've also got to be careful as well, because there's that thing of you can drown yourself by having too much water.
Yeah.
So it's just getting that balance right of not having too much and filling yourself up.
Well, yeah, it's that balance, right, of not dehydrating and, becoming like a desert jellyfish, like a little crisp, and drowning yourself.
Yeah.
You're right, it is a balance. That's exactly what you've got to do.
I don't know how you've managed it, Karl. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
No, but
what I do is when I'm thirsty, I drink, and when I'm not thirsty, I don't.
Yeah, but that's the problem with me. Whatever it is that's in your head that says you should have a drink, I don't really have one.
It's called a brain.
It's called a brain. Yeah.
It's the brain that tells you. Yeah.
But my brain's never thirsty. I only think of drinking when I'm eating. And I'm not eating as much because my kidney's weird. I don't want to put any pressure on it, so I don't drink. So now, if I have it in front of me all the time, I go, right, I've got to have that.
Yeah.
So I feel, feel a bit better.
Good.
Just, it's just been a long week. Because when you don't do much, it's just, time doesn't whiz by.
And normally your weeks are packed, as we know, with visits to the cobblers.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like they say, innit? They say,
following an ant.
Exactly, yeah. You've got a hectic schedule.
I know, I don't know how you fit it all in.
But, because I was close to death and everything.
You weren't close to death.
I've been thinking about, other people who've been in that situation where they're dying and what have you. And it's weird how, like, in a way, do you know, like they say before you die, things to do?
Yeah.
I've never heard that sentence before. I don't know if they say.
Well, I've extrapolated from that. What you mean is there are certain things you should do before you die. Swim with dolphins, etc.
Yeah. But in a way, because I've had such a boring week, it's been a long week. So if I was dying, don't go swim with dolphins because you'll love it and the time will whiz by and you go, oh, there's another day gone. Whereas I've been sat at home watching, The Price is Right and stuff. And it's just like, oh, it's only 4 o'clock. Oh, this is dragging. So if I was dying, I'd go, yeah, it's dragging, but I've got ages more left to live.
Yeah. Well, what's the point?
But it's surely about quality of existence, isn't it, when you're dying?
No, but anyway, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Been a boring week. But what I've been doing is going on the internet, sort of learning stuff, been watching more documentaries about stuff.
Yeah. Okay, tell me something you watched on the internet then.
The the thing that stands out the most, there's this spider.
Right.
That a fella got. Popped it in like a little sort of bottle.
Yeah.
And chucked in 80 ants. And the spider, right, just went mental. And I don't know if the spiders eat ants. I don't know if they do. But he wasn't happy with them, that they were there. And he was just whizzing around, sort of biting them. Not eating them, just giving them a bite. And the ants would sort of just lie there, dead. And spider had this system of sort of going, right, I'm going to put the dead ones over there. And it was biting them, dragging them across, putting them in a pile, killing another one, popping it in the pile. And by the end of it, it made like a little pile of dead ants. And he was just there sort of breathing heavily. And that was amazing, because I'd never witnessed that before. But you don't see that happening, do you, normally?
So you think that if people are unfortunately passing away, sort of visiting Disneyland or whatever, they should
just learn stuff. Just
sure, get on the internet and watch
this
spiders.
This world is amazing.
Attacking ants.
And just that thing of, last week you were saying how good ants were and how they're brainy and they work hard and everything. Yet none of them they didn't know what they were doing. There was panic going on. You watched them again; they were running backwards and forwards. And I remember seeing a program about ants where they're meant to sort of work together as a team. Yeah. And if they climb up a person's leg, that person stood on their house, say, and they're all like, "Oh."
There's a signal, and they all bite at the same time. They all bite
at once. Now, if that had done that on that spider, they sort of all go on it, and when they're all in position, one of them sort of goes, "No," and it bites. And then it would do some damage, but there was none of that.
But you've seen things like the Towering Inferno, where even humans panic crazily and jump out of windows and things until Steve McQueen comes along and saves the day. So,
yeah, but at the end of the day, when you're in a Towering Inferno, you were there relaxing on holiday. So, of course, you're going to be relaxed, and the shock of it's going to make you go, "Oh, I wasn't ready for that. I was sat here in my trunks." Whereas that ants should always be alert.
Well, yeah.
Any insect's life should always be...
So for a human scooping up 80 of them, putting them in a bottle with a giant spider?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what insects do. Their life, they never relax. That's what's weird with an insect. There's no downtime, is there? It's you wake up, you go and get the food, you build your house. That's what you do, so you're always alert. They shouldn't be sort of running around going, "Oh, what do we do now?" That should be in them.
I love that you're annoyed at these poor ants that were bitten to death.
But also, they say they're clever. I was looking at it. If I was an ant, I would have just crawled under the pile of dead ones. Just sit under there, wait for the spiders to go. None of them were doing that. They were all staying on one side and the dead ones on the other. So I'm just saying that, you're always sticking up for insects, saying they know what they're doing. They don't.
What do you mean? Where's this come from? When have I ever stuck up for insects? It's you that's follow them and saying they're brilliant and that, and ladybirds are right-handed and Christ knows what.
No, but, so I'd learnt that.
Brilliant. You haven't learnt anything.
There's nothing to learn from that,
There's nothing you learnt from that.
Something about jellyfish, and what else was there? There was a programme on the telly about survival, and a fella who he looks after elephants, and he's in this little hang glider looking for an elephant that he's looking after. He has to keep a track on where it's going and all that. And one day he's saying, "Oh, I haven't seen the elephant today," and the fella's like, "Well, look for it tomorrow." He's like, "No, it's best if I go and look for it now, because it might go further away or something." He said, "Oh, I wish you'd leave it, till tomorrow." So straight away you're going, "Oh, this is trouble." So he's going out in his glider, sort of at night. He's looking for the elephant.
I doubt it's a glider. I imagine
it's a glider with an engine. It's one of
a light aircraft, then.
Yeah. So he gets in that on his own. He's wandering about in the air, looking down. Like I say, it's loads of land. He's looking for one elephant. He's not having much luck. Anyway, I think he gets to a point when he goes, "Oh, I'm having no luck, I might as well go home." Goes to turn round. Something happens. The glider falls to the floor, crashes.
Light aircraft.
Yeah. That crashes. He gets out. He's broke his legs. Done his back in. His hands. I mean, he's in a bad way. And he looks at the plane, and that's a wreck. Petrol's coming out of it. He's thinking that's not going to fly again. And he has to lie there, doesn't he, for like 48 hours or something. And in that time, everything's being chucked at him. He has a lion wandering around him. A scorpion walked over his leg. Some sort of dangerous snake went in his shoe.
Yeah.
What else is there out there? Some sort of bad ants. Just everything that's there that could cause a problem. He had it all in his line.
I haven't seen this, but I suspect there's a lot of conjecture in this telling of
the
it.
Bad ants.
Bad ants. And
No, just anything that you could think of that's out there to cause you a bit of a problem.
Camels.
He got hot. He got so hot his lips fell off. No, because you have to have a lot of juice to keep your lips sort of how they are.
Right.
So that's the sort of state he was in.
Yeah.
48 hours. And yet he survived in the end. Someone came and found him.
And you thought you were bored doing nothing.
Yeah, no, well,
he didn't even have the internet.
Yeah, but he had a lot of insects.
What would you do then if you landed, right? Supposing we all land, right? We're shipwrecked, okay? There's no food around. But there's a chance we might be saved, like, in a few days. We just got to stay alive just for a few days, okay? Steve offers up his penis.
For what purpose?
Well, it's already you've torn it in the plane crash. Anyways, it's hanging off. You go, okay, listen, lads, let's eat this. This will go 3 ways.
I should be so lucky. Okay, fine, yeah.
I'll look for something else. Because we're surrounded by water. Why are we eating knob? There's loads of fish and everything. There's more fish in the sea than there is stuff on land. That was something else that I've read about how there's more sea life happening. There's loads more.
What do you mean? Than what?
Than stuff happening on land.
Well, yeah, it's a bigger place, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's more. They're all coming further in because it's getting so crowded. Everything's being pushed outwards. So we're going to get to a point where people won't go walking in the sea because there'll be something deadly just floating about on near the shore. Again,
that's no information at all.
I don't know.
There's no information in that statement at all.
Yeah, I said how the sea is so overcrowded that everything's being pushed to the edge.
It's not overcrowded.
It is.
You mean things that are in the sea are being pushed to the edge of the sea?
Yeah, because there's new stuff happening all the time. There's new creatures being made. They're changing quickly. They were saying how, like, I don't know, 50 years ago, jellyfish didn't even have a sting.
That's rubbish. Try 50 million and you'll get closer to the truth.
But what I mean is, in terms of, like, land, we all look the same, don't we? We've had 2 legs and 2 arms for ages. Whereas in the sea, things are changing at a really fast rate. So, like, jellyfish were knocking about.
The sea is a much more stable environment than the land, anyway.
What are you on about?
Well, I wouldn't have thought evolution is any faster in the sea than land.
Yeah, it is.
Well, no, what's the evidence for this?
Well, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you how jellyfish have changed. And look at them.
And how have they changed then? So 50 years ago they didn't have a sting. Yeah. Now they have.
Yeah.
Trilbies, they wore trilbies 50 years ago as well.
And they just spoke with a much more, refined accent.
Yeah.
Just that is quite a lot, though, isn't it? Because jellyfish are nothing.
But
like
no, you've made that up. That's not a fact. There's no facts come out of this discussion. Not. Oh, that's interesting. That you haven't said anything. Jellyfish haven't changed in 50 years.
No, they have. They've changed a lot in terms of.
Well, they haven't changed in hundreds of millions of years. So I don't know what the 60s had to do with anything. I just don't know what influence the Beatles and Mary Quant suddenly had on jellyfish when they hadn't changed for hundreds of millions of years.
With all this sort of loose, free sex, free love, they were just going berserk.
I know, yeah.
There were no inhibitions amongst the jellyfish anymore.
Things are changing a lot. To think that jellyfish, when they first came out, they were nothing. Jellyfish are nothing, aren't they? They're just a blob. So
when they first came out, when they were first released,
new by Roncal.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, even though they were nothing, they've grown to have a bit of something, just to get by in a busy place. Which
I don't know what you're talking about. It's all guesswork and conjecture.
It's not guesswork. I've been
it's
off
all
for a week.
nonsense.
I've been reading all this and watching stuff.
Karl, you haven't learned anything.
Well, that's not entirely true because he's obviously learnt enough to have written a poem about some of these subjects.
Oh, I love his poems. Are you getting into poetry now, properly?
I really like it, yeah.
Is Karl going to read this for me, Steve?
If you want him to.
I think so.
I did one about my kidneys.
What was it called?
Didn't have a name, it doesn't need it.
Ode to a Nephron.
Right, I did 2 about jellyfish.
Excellent.
I don't like jellyfish. They're not a fish, they're just a blob. They don't have eyes, fins or scales like a cod. They float about blind, stinging people in the seas. And no one eats jellyfish with chips and mushy peas. Get rid of them. And then there's just a shorter one I did about a jellyfish. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle.
Yeah, it certainly would.
So.
That's great! That's really good! Because it's jelly. He's done us there, Steve.
Yeah.
That's a really good poem. It would be spiteful to put jellyfish in a trifle.
Yeah.
A little half rhyme.
Yeah.
Do you want the one about my kidneys?
Yeah.
For God's sake, me belly ache. The doctor said it's me kidney. He said he's got to stick a tube up me knob. I said, you got to be kidding me. For God's sake, knob ache.
Oh God! I'm sort of mildly disappointed that they're quite good.
Yeah.
No poet's ever written about jellyfish and kidneys. It's great! Oh God, I think you might have the market sewn up there. It would be spiteful to put a jellyfish in a trifle. I mean, I'm both impressed and fascinated and worried by Karl's new literary outlook.
Yeah.
You know, we've said to him, we've tried to make him appreciate the arts and poetry and explaining like what metaphor does and symbolism and all that. But I'm worried it'll backfire, because what if he becomes clever and erudite and then we lose our little endless well of stupidity? What if we lose our little shaved monkey? I mean, these podcasts without,
It's almost like you were evolving into a human.
I mean, you've authored a book.
Well, I have to say, I mean, at the risk of sounding like we're shamelessly promoting it, I've only just looked at the book today, because that's the first time I've seen it, The World of Karl Pilkington, and I was very impressed by how legitimate it feels. I mean, it does feel like an actual book.
He's put so much work into it. I mean,
he's done drawings, he's done extra thoughts and ideas, and it's very odd to think that has probably gone now into the British Library, which I think is obligated to take a copy of every book published.
Incredible.
I mean, let's be honest, it's not going to be on anyone's bookshelf. It'll be on their lavatory cistern, possibly next to their bed. But nevertheless, it's hardback and it's got pages. It's a real book.
Yeah.
Will you now read some great works? Will you read poetry at all? Or?
Probably not. I don't like reading made-up stories, because
Fiction.
life's interesting enough, innit?
Right.
If I'm going to read someone else's lies, I might as well make some of my own up and save me money, is what I mean.
But you do read lies and made-up things, you just take them as the truth. Most of the spurious facts and apocryphal tales and ridiculous stories that you read on the internet are, fiction.
Yeah, but as long as it gets you thinking, then it really doesn't matter. Say, like, I was telling you about the sea being full up.
Yeah.
Right? How there's too many fish in it, and they're all being pushed out. Then, it was saying about how the jellyfish is changing.
Yeah.
From a bit back, just being a blob, to now being a blob with stingy bits. You go, oh. And then...
No, I don't. I wonder what he read. I wonder what he was reading.
Then I'll think of what other things are in the sea, how are they changing? And then that's when I might do a poem about an octopus with 2 heads. Because it's got me thinking. So no longer am I just reading someone else's story, spending a full week reading some other story. I've read a little paragraph, and that's got me thinking about
and it's inspired you to make great art.
With an octopus with 2 heads. And you just think, yeah, that would work. That's a good way for them to evolve. They've got all the arms. Give them 2 heads.
They've got all the arms.
And, you know, it would work, because like I've said to you before, it is one big head. Just make it 2 smaller heads. So it's just looking at science, looking at how things can move.
It's not looking at
But it's
science.
not looking at science. You then speculating on an octopus having 2 heads is of no value, is it, to anyone or anything?
But there's people out there who are bringing out books who are writing stuff like that for sci-fi stuff. And I think, why am I reading
But that's
theirs?
entertainment. Everyone knows it's not true. They're doing it to...
But they do more than just say, wouldn't it be great if there was an octopus with 2 heads? They then paint a world in which this octopus exists
I
and
can do
presumably
that.
causes some kind of narrative interest.
I can do that on my own, though. Without...
So
you know,
what's the story of the octopus with 2 heads?
It's happier in the end. Everyone likes happy ending. He's got company.
But that's not a story, Carl. What? Tell us the story.
What, you made up a story about an octopus with 2 heads?
No, I'm just saying... I've thought about how the sea's changing. Right, what else is in the sea? Octopus. Right, what's an octopus like? Well, it's just a big head with a load of arms. Right, how would I change that?
I love this thought process.
But it's not a story. This is not a story. It's not anything. It's just some thoughts you've had. It's not...
But a story is there to make you think and have thoughts.
But what is it that you've thought? You've not... I don't see what you've thought here.
I've just thought, yeah, that'd be alright.
I know, but...
Well, like King Kong, then. That's only someone who's gone, oh, monkeys are getting better at stuff.
Yes, but it has a story, doesn't it? They go in search...
No, it isn't. It isn't saying monkeys are getting better at stuff. That's not what it's saying. There's lots of themes, but that's not one of them.
Monkeys are getting better at stuff.
No, they're getting better at stuff. The way they try to he tried to go out with a woman. That's them moving on, isn't it? It's the monkey going, do you know what? I quite fancy her. And you know from the beginning, I mean, that is a story that you go, well, that relationship ain't going to work. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've not gone out with women who I've quite fancied, but then they smoke, and you go, oh, that's enough to put me off. Yeah. So, when a monkey's that big, the thought wouldn't even pass my mind.
To go on a date.
This could work out. Sometimes it's just, you know, relationships aren't made for each other. Now, that for a story, you wouldn't think it'd go past page 1. Yet you're having a go at me because an octopus has got 2 heads. Which isn't that weird. When you look at them anyway, I mean, it must be the weirdest thing knocking about on the planet. I'm not kidding you. I've never seen anything so weird. And yet...
He's angry because he's not seen anything so weird as an octopus, so
but it's not yet a story.
What's weird about it? What's strange about an octopus with all the things that could...
Why is it any weirder than a dog? Because
it couldn't be further away from us. A dog has got human eyes. If a jellyfish had a pair of eyes like ours, I probably wouldn't worry about him that much. But like I said to you, it's that way that they haven't got eyes, they're floating about. I can handle some fish. They look like us. They've got eyes. You can make eye-to-eye contact with them. A jellyfish, what are you looking at? It's a snidey thing, like I've said to you. You can see a lot in eyes. Do you know what I mean? They say, don't trust him. Why? It's his eyes. Jellyfish haven't even got any, and I don't trust them. Whereas if Adam, maybe there'd be the odd one that I'd go, oh, that one's all right.
Okay, Karl, I'm just going to throw an animal at you. Tell me how weird it is, what bits annoy you, how you change it. Okay? A crab.
How would I change it?
Yeah. Does it annoy you? Do you think it's weird?
They are weird. But they're at that size where they can get away with it.
Yeah, it suits them. Okay, good.
Would I change anything? In a way, you know, what you're saying about things not working, he can't walk forwards. So why hasn't something happened? Why haven't they said, you know what, these arms are too clumsy. We need to have them so they can slot away easier, and we can pull them out when we need them, instead of clumping around with them. Because they do struggle. You see them struggling with their arms. Yet they're still here, they're still doing that, they're still designed that way.
What's the weirdest animal? So you think the octopus is the weirdest animal on Earth?
Yeah. In terms of design and everything, and if you lined everything up, say if I'd come from another planet, and everything was lined up in a row, and they said, right, we're going to give you a crash course in what's knocking about on this planet.
Yeah.
And you go, right, go on then. And you go, this is man, here's woman, here's a dog, here's a cat, here's an octopus, here's a... I go, hang on a minute, what is this?
Oh, it's only going really down.
That jingle, of course, signifies another reading from Karl Pilkington's diary. There was an animal in the paper today that I've never before seen. It's called an alpaca. They are gormless looking. The fellow who breeds them said they are easy to look after because they're used to harsh conditions because they normally live in the mountains. The problem with this is they will turn useless eventually, and then if we tried to bung it back on the Andes, they won't like it. It's like how people win these live like a star for a week competitions. They're not good for anyone. Okay.
Do you know what I mean? If something's living somewhere...
But he's not
But
going to
why are
send
we
them
gonna
back
bung
to
it
the
back?
Andes. He's presumably breeding them for something else.
Yeah, but say if eventually, you know, the world's getting busy, there's hardly any room, and we go, right, what can we shift here? What's getting in our way that we can shift? Well, those funny-looking things came from the Andes, bung them back. All right, then let's put them back. And they go, oh, they don't like it. They're not surviving, they're dying out. Why did we bring them here? Oh, it was closer. Yeah, but look, we've died out now of the...
Sorry, this is an argument with
This is a
yourself.
whole scenario.
No, this isn't happening. Don't angry about it like it just happened and you're sick of it. None of this has happened
No,
yet.
I'm just looking at how it will happen. Leave them where they were.
But
It's
you're
like-
getting angry about things that you're speculating on now. It's absurd, Karl. Not once have
That
I
was
read
an
here about
argument
your
with
anger
yourself.
about terrorism or international, you know, political injustice. Not once have you written about that. Only about the fact we may send animals back to the Andes.
I know, but just because it just annoyed me, that's all. They brought them here, some fella's getting a load of praise because they've brought this weird animal into the country, and yet it's like, well, they were on the Andes for a reason. Leave them there. It was happier there. I mean, I feel guilty when I open a bag and a fly flies out of it, and I think, where's that come from?
What bag are you opening with flies? What bag?
No, just when, like, you know, the bag I took the computer home in, a fly flew out of it, and I thought, when did that get in that bag? Wherever brought that from? And it's the same thing. It doesn't want to be somewhere else. It was where it was. And that's the same with this Polaco, or whatever.
Oh, God! It's amazing! It really is the ramblings of a madman, isn't it?
Some new sea thing has been found.
That's the headlines on the news.
It wasn't found by sea experts. It was found on eBay. Someone was selling it for a £5. I don't see the point in buying something that you don't know what it is.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It was...
Someone's found some sort of shell with a thing living in it.
Right.
They thought, oh, I've never seen one of these before, I can flog it on eBay. Someone bought it and then wanted to look after it, went to some sea expert, and they said, oh, I don't know what that is. That's the story. It's just weird how stuff's being found on eBay.
No, it wasn't found on eBay, though, was it?
Yeah, but that's where the specialist people sort of picked up on it. It's just weird that... I mean, all I was saying is I wouldn't want one. If you don't know how to... If it's a new creature, you don't know what makes it happy. When you get a kitten, you go, stroke its head, loves it, right? And you can do that knowing that it's liking it. If I had a little seashell, and you go, does it sit in water? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You could end up doing more damage. So that's why I wouldn't want it. It's nice to have rules, innit? It's nice to know what you're doing with something.
Well, as you write in the diary, it's like if an alien landed and wanted to live with you. As much fun as it might sound, it wouldn't be long before you got annoyed with it because it wouldn't eat the food you gave it.
That's what I'm saying, but I couldn't have a go at it because it might not like pasta.
It might not.
Everyone likes pasta.
Well, that's it for another week. I hope you've enjoyed this half hour of drivel. I mean, some of the most stupid things ever said. I mean, it's like he's got a contempt now for the world. Like, he doesn't care what comes out of his head.
Learning can be frustrating. Can't it? You know, you maybe I'm getting you thinking, maybe on your way home today you'll be going, yeah, octopus with two heads. And if you do that for 5 seconds, I've done my job.
Good to have a job in it. So, from me, Ricky Gervais, goodbye. From Steve Merchant.
Goodbye.
And from Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to number 4 in the series of 6. Season 3 of the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Yeah, first of all, I'm sorry to do this, but me and Steve have got to bring something up that's been bugging us for a couple of weeks now, but it's reached... you are so fucking lazy, Karl, at the moment. You have time off, right? You go away every weekend, so me and Steve are so precious at the moment with so many things to do, with extras and books coming out and stuff. I've never heard anyone whinge about going in with kidney stones. I know loads of people that had kidney stones.
Not like
They've
mine.
had the, no, you say not like that because, they've had the operation. I know people that had their appendix out, right? An actual under the knife operation, and he was back at work the next day, and he had a bit of a sore side. But you have whinged now for weeks and weeks, everything you say, oh, I've had this, I've got to go in again. But you're still well enough to go away every weekend to see your folks, or your in-laws,
this is the problem.
or a holiday. And it's just, we are so, sometimes you've got to pull together, mate.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you say keep a diary, and you said make sure you do a diary for a year.
Yeah.
If I didn't go and visit people and travel the world, what would I do in it?
Karl, I read your diary every week. All you seem to do is spend time in a cafe, having a cup of tea and a bit of breakfast.
That's the weekend, that's
who are
when
you
people
constantly
do stuff.
visiting?
Anyway, let's not argue.
You don't even
People
like
know
your
what we're
family, I
arguing.
thought.
It's not my family, is it?
Well, you
Suzanne's family.
You don't
But
like
you've got
anyone.
work.
Why are you visiting
But you say
them?
I'm working that weekend. I'm working that weekend. We have to put. Let's put this in first. It's a busy time.
Family's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't keep messing people
But this is
about.
all you have to do.
What
No,
else are
there's
you
lots of
doing?
doing.
What other job have you got?
Loads of
You know.
stuff. I don't want to go into what I'm doing, but I've got loads
But
of
all
stuff.
I hear is you're
Well,
always having meetings.
I
You're
know,
always
yeah.
going from meetings.
Yeah, I know, yeah,
I don't know what that
yeah,
means,
yeah,
meetings.
yeah.
Right, anyway.
Other than being in a bloody cafe.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
well.
no, seriously though. So, you've been on your travels, you've got lots to talk about, so...
Yeah, I've got to go in hospital again as well, haven't I? So,
What's your current state with your old...
I don't want to go on about it.
Well, no, I mean, you've brought it up.
You're fine, you're well enough to go away, you're well enough to go on holiday, you're well enough to visit people, you went on a train, you went to Manchester, you must be well enough, so you're well enough to do this.
I went back to Bristol at the weekend. I had a bit of time off, as you know,
Nice.
because Karl couldn't do the work.
I know.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So we all had a
Well,
nice
no,
time.
well,
No, I didn't. I went to Bristol when I was working.
That's all right. But
Well,
it's
exactly.
still visiting a place, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's a ridiculous thing to say. That's like saying a pilot doesn't work because he's visiting a place.
No, because he doesn't visit it. He
No,
doesn't
you
get out
sit
the
down
plane.
on your arse. Sometimes you hire a car, so you can't be reading or studying. You're driving for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I went there working. We went to America, we were working. I went to Bristol, I was working.
Oh, shut up.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean?
Getting a bit uppity.
The truth hurts, Stephen.
The truth does hurt, and it's interesting that
Yeah.
he suddenly snapped at you there.
I know.
Because I wondered to myself, if it weren't for you, Mr. Ricky Gervais, what would this man, this little round-headed man, be doing right now?
Fuck all, Stephen. Fuck all.
Yeah, I went back to Bristol at the weekend. As we know, we all had a bit of time off. And, actually, I was quite annoyed because I passed the pub near where my parents live, and they had a band on. You know, pubs sometimes have a band on. And the name of the band, I'm disappointed that I missed them. The name of the band, Rick, was Loose Change. But what I like about Loose Change is it's the least evocative name for a band, isn't it? It's not
amazing.
sexy, it's nothing. It's got no kind of mood or feel to it at all.
Loose change.
It's just,
Welcome. Rough outline.
yeah.
It's just nothing.
The checkbook stubs.
Pocket fluff.
yeah. But while I was at my parents' house, they often, they keep clippings of things, if we've been mentioned in the papers, they like to keep a record of them and stuff, because, I like to show it to my grandparents, and keep fully abreast of things. And, I managed to find a couple of them. This was what, I don't know if you've heard this, Karl. It's, for people who don't realise, Karl was making a couple of little 3-minute TV projects recently that were on Channel 4. And in the Sunday Times, someone's written a letter about Karl to the Sunday Times.
Wow.
They can send in comments and views on things they've seen, read, heard.
Oh, excellent.
And this is what someone wrote to the Sunday Times. Who is Karl Pilkington? And why have I just wasted 5 minutes of my life listening to some of his cretinous thoughts on Channel 4? He asked, why are there so many dinosaurs on display in museums? Quotes, couldn't they just choose the best one and just show that? He summed it all up by deciding that we know too much. Somebody clearly doesn't know enough to know that this is a complete waste of airtime, showing no wit, intellect or creativity. That's from Wendy Robinson in Berkshire.
You can't have your critics. You know what I mean?
You've got to have your critics.
Of course you have. If everybody liked what you did, then you're not doing the right thing.
She wasted 5 minutes, and they were 3-minute wonders, so it must have felt...
Yeah.
2/3 as long again.
But think how angry she must have been to have bothered writing this letter to the Sunday Times.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
though.
you
It's made a
really must
decent-
have.
It's all about getting people thinking. That's what I always say to you. As long as I'm getting people thinking about what I've said, she remembered what I said.
But what views did you put out in these short films which you feel people perhaps should be talking about, discussing, digesting, thinking about?
Just stuff that was in my head that day when I was filming them.
Yeah.
Is it in your head now?
Some of it is. Now you've remembered me what I said.
Now you've what?
Now you've sort of told me what I said in that one. Yeah, I remember saying that.
Yeah.
And I stick by it.
Remember him some other stuff?
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, right? This, if I don't know if Wendy's, listen to this, but
Almost certainly not.
But listen, right? I was saying about the museums, right, and how they're big and everything, and they've
Brilliant.
got dinosaurs all over the shop. I read that in that museum, they've got something like 7 million bits of stuff in there. Right? Now, when I spend 2 hours in somewhere, just show me the good stuff. Don't be saying we've got 7 million bits. Because there was a fella who opened it, right? I did a bit of research on the museum. Fella who opened the museum up.
What was his name?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, does it?
What museum was it?
It was the London one.
Oh, the London one, yeah, okay.
So he's in there, and he's collecting all this, bits of stuff.
What stuff?
Just whatever's knocking about at that
Oh,
time.
right, okay.
It seemed like
You have researched it.
he never chucked anything away. He's like, I won't put it in the bin, pop it on a shelf.
Okay,
right? So
yeah.
he's put everything on a shelf in
right,
this
yeah.
museum. Then, as time
I
went
think you're
on-
going into too much detail, but just give us the gist of it.
No, but all I'm saying is, he keeps everything, and if you keep everything, sometimes it'll be good stuff, right? And a lot of the stuff was going missing, the good stuff. But people who set these museums up are just as crafty.
What?
The fella who found Tutankhamun, he was pocketing all sorts of fingers and stuff in his pockets on the way out. That had rings on them and stuff. So all I'm saying is, why is she having a go?
But
She's
hang on,
learnt
wait,
something.
what's that got to do with someone pocket? I don't understand your point.
Because she's sort of moaning at me, going, "Don't have a go at the museum and the dinosaurs." But
No,
everybody,
she's having a go at your fatuous point.
Yeah, your absolutely uneducated,
But,
stupid
I mean,
point that
I-
you got TV time to talk absolute shit. If I could
that's not
paraphrase
my fault,
Wendy.
Is it? That's not my fault. If someone says they want me to do a little programme and you can do what I want, I went and did what I did. Free speech, innit?
But we just gave you the chance then to defend yourself, and you just confirmed Wendy's point 1,000 times over. What was all this waffle about people nicking stuff? What's that got to do with anything?
Because she's having a go at me. I didn't nick
But
anything.
she's having a go at you for talking nonsense that's of no consequence, which is what you just did
What
then.
sort of nonsense?
But what was your point?
Oh, all right, then we'll watch Wendy's little programme when that goes out. Let's see what she's got to talk about. Sick of her.
So anyway, as I say, my mother saves various clippings and things which may be of interest. This was recently in the Daily Mail, in one of those kind of gossip columns. Ricky Gervais's cringe-worthy dance routine as managerial buffoon David Brent was undoubtedly the highlight of BBC comedy The Office. Perhaps credit for the scene should not go to Gervais, however, but his lanky co-writer Stephen Merchant. For I hear that 6'7" Merchant has been attracting a great deal of female attention at the so-and-so pub in North London, until he took to the dance floor with Brent-esque results. Says my mole, most of the feminine throng looked away in embarrassment. Putting it kindly, he was rather ungainly, like a giant albatross hopping on stilts. Right, now then. I'll take issue with this, because firstly...
You wouldn't be attracting female attention in the first place.
Rick, if I had been, I'd have phoned the Mail myself. Point A... Right, I seem to remember distinctly I was talking to one of my mates the whole night and we were discussing about the fact we were too shy to talk to girls. So wrong there.
Yeah.
Point two, as you well know, if I take to the dance floor, which on this occasion I didn't, I remember distinctly not because I love to dance, I would not have been described as a giant albatross hopping on stilts because Karl has seen me dance, you've seen me dance, you know I'm a good mover.
Yeah.
Just in the same way that people can't quite understand how Peter Crouch, the same height as me,
Yeah.
is able to be so brilliant on the football field.
Yeah.
The same people look at me when I'm dancing, they go, I don't know how that big guy is able to bust some of those kind of moves.
Yeah.
I've won 2 dance contests in my life. Those facts, those stats speak for themselves, Rick.
I know.
I mean, you've seen me dancing, how would you describe me?
I think that you look like a... Isn't an albatross, isn't it? So you look like, an upright lizard, right, being given electroshock treatment. And I think that's a lot fairer, isn't it, than the albatross nonsense?
Well, So I'm just trying to picture that, because again, I was that a compliment? You were on my side, right? You were defending me.
A cross between a giant lizard and a stick insect.
Again, because they don't sound... straight away, they don't sound like compliments, but I'm assuming you're on my side here.
Stick insect with funny glasses? Is that...
Again, I thought, I was thinking you were perhaps being a bit touch more supportive, but you've not really... Karl, you've seen me dance, what are your views?
It's just like a bit of weird art.
That's brilliant! That is brilliant! That's so much better than albatross!
I wouldn't have said an albatross. I was looking at one of them the other day, and I don't understand what they mean by that, because they're dying out. They say, they dive in the sea.
Oh, it's gone. Yeah. Something happened in the brain. It went from the point we were making, via an albatross, then it just shut off. It just ping like a pinball.
Well, let's hear, because it's going to be another good point.
No, it's just saying how, because I've never seen one, and they were saying, how would you feel if you never saw one again? And I was like, I've got by this long without it. It's not bothered me. But it was just sort of saying, what they do is they dive in the sea, sort of put their head under the water, see if there's any fish knocking about, grab one, get out again, right?
Yeah.
Go to land. I don't know if they're designed to do that.
Well, obviously they are.
No, because seagulls are, because you see them floating about. Now, what's happening is, they're doing that, but getting caught in nets.
Well, that's it. The net shouldn't be there. That's the point. They're totally adapted to their environment, but we came along millions and millions of years afterwards and stitched them up. It's not like people are going, well, the nets were always there. How did they evolve without getting caught in the net? We invented the net. We've only been knocking around for a few 100,000 years.
But what I'm saying is, it's that thing about animals learn by mistakes by other animals. You know, like the monkeys peeling potatoes.
Right. That's never happened. They go and put nuts in the salt water to salt the nut.
Whatever.
How does that get to peeling potatoes? Because in your head, they were working in a canteen.
Making chips.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It doesn't matter what the food is. I'm just saying how they know how to sort of prepare
I
that
love
food.
the fact that you don't care what the fact is. When you're discussing facts, that's all that matters. Otherwise, on Mastermind, they just go, who wrote Much Ado About Nothing? Dickens? Yeah, close enough, whatever, someone did. The fact is what matters.
Yeah, but with that question, that's got a straightforward answer. What I'm telling you is the way that animals work. If it's a potato or a nut, it's a foodage.
And once again, I return you to my question as before. What's your point? What point were you making?
I'm just saying an albatross will find... if you're hungry, you find food or you change your diet. If you don't eat something else, you die out. Simple. Said before. If you want a pie, but they haven't got any pies, you have a pasty. Alter your diet. And an albatross...
Drastically.
Yeah,
pies
radical.
Yeah, you said. Completely changing my diet. No more pies. What are you eating? Pasty. Brilliant. I'm not going to eat quiche anymore. I'm going to have a tartlet.
But you're getting more and more sort of single-minded in your...
No, single-celled.
Yeah.
It's not, though.
In your belief that everything you say has got some kind of profound implication and that no one else is listening, that we're all ignorant. Right. We're all not listening to what you're saying.
Here's another one.
Go on.
Here's something else I discussed.
Oh, come on. This will be good.
In series
This will be as good as E equals MC squared.
The people ageing backwards idea.
Well, it's not an idea.
They've done something on it, saying how...
No, they haven't.
A baby has been messing about with emails. Right?
Oh,
yeah,
God!
A 65-year-old doesn't know how to use email. So, again, my system works. So say if you're an old person, you're not using the internet, but you shouldn't be anyway. Because you should be sort of just getting used to life as an old person. When you're a baby and you're about to die, they're using the internet.
I don't know what you mean, when you're a baby and you're about to die.
This is if this was your world, if it was your world. Well, let me just ask a couple of questions.
That makes no sense at all. What you just... that makes no sense at all.
I'm just saying that my theory...
You may as well have hit a wok. to express that point, because they're...
the pong! That would have made more sense.
See, this is why,
more profound.
This is why
more resonant.
This is why Wendy's having a go, though, because you're not being open-minded. You're not thinking about...
But we're being open-minded to good ideas, to sensible thought, to intellectual considerations. We're not being open-minded to this utter drivel.
Yeah, but every invention is a bit... Who'd have thought the Frisbee would have caught on?
That's not... I don't think that can count as an invention, though.
Of course it is. People are paying for it. Someone said, I'm going to invent something.
But people are paying for carrots. But they're not an invention. Because you pay for something, it doesn't mean it's an invention.
No, but a man-made thing. A Frisbee, it didn't grow off a tree, did it? Someone's made that and gone, I can sell this. And people are buying it. You know, all I'm saying is, things change, don't they? You know, the albatross is dying out. The way... like when I walked into the flat, right, we've had hot weather, haven't we? We've had a lot of flies knocking about. Now, when I was younger, I never saw flies sort of hanging about in gangs. Whereas...
I don't know what world this is! Would they have little motorbikes?
No, you know, just you'd sort of see one would get in the house, you know, my dad would kill it or whatever, but you'd never see three. You wouldn't be going, oh, which one am I going to get first and everything. They'd come in, they'd exit out of a window or whatever. Whereas I walked in on a bit of activity.
There's nothing to eat here.
Right? 3 flies in the flat, right? All sort of whizzing around.
Right.
All together, right? So I just sort of think, oh, you know, let them be. They seem to be happy. You know, they're playing around with each other, right? Sat down, reading the paper, look up, right? It was like one was trying to, like, have it away with one of the flies, and the other one was having a go as well. It turned out it was a little fly that didn't want any of the action, but 2 were attacking it.
How could you possibly gauge that?
Just by watching. That's how you learn, isn't it? You watch. You watch.
But no, this is conjecture again. You had no idea what was going on there.
No, I did. It's the way they were sort of jumping on it and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm not happy with this going on, and, you know, under my roof sort of thing.
My house, my rules.
But it's a nightmare because it's small. You can't control it. You don't know which one's which. You might end up sort of pushing out one that's the baddie.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
Why are you getting involved?
Just because creatures are changing all the time.
What are you talking about? What point are you making?
I'm just saying the way that flies used to be happy-go-lucky, on their own, the sun's out, have a fly about.
Whereas nowadays...
now, there was like little attacks going on.
But how could you tell which were the 2 aggressors and which was the victim? How could you distinguish?
This was the problem. I mean, all I was looking at was which one they kept attacking. And I was thinking, if I can get that one in the bedroom and then get the other 2 out the window...
What are you...
Just breaking it up. Because what sort of a person would I be to let that go on?
I don't know what he's talking about. He has no feelings for anything. He doesn't care if whole species die out. Why are you getting involved?
That's where you're wrong, because I think more than most people. I think there's a lot of people who just go through the motions.
Yeah.
They do the same thing every day. They can do a job, but that's all they stick to. They don't think about what are them flies doing.
Karl,
what's that lady
I've known you for, I don't know, 4 years, and all you ever say is things like, why do we have jellyfish?
No, I haven't mentioned a jellyfish today.
But it's the same old shit. You look at something, you make up your own story, and then your conclusion annoys you, even though it's totally fatuous.
Like I say, the man with the Frisbee, what happens if he had a mate who said, rubbish that, he wouldn't have done it?
I love the fact that you think the Frisbee is the pinnacle of invention.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
No, it's an example of something that, you know, if he was on some programme where you said, I've invented this, they'd go, get out. They wouldn't give him time of day to say, right, I've made this thing, it's out of plastic, you throw it about. What for? Well, you just chuck it about on the beach. What's the point? It was a bit of fun, innit? No, I don't like it.
That was an argument with himself.
No, but do you know what I mean? It's a popular little thing, and I'm just saying it's easy to put ideas down.
But you've never even come up with an idea as good as the Frisbee, and that's saying something.
I came up with a clippable mat that goes on a cup, and it's a good little thing. I haven't followed it through yet.
A what?
A clippable mat.
What's a clippable mat? What does that involve?
Clippable mat that you stick on a cup, so you can put your cup down on a table without having to go, oh, where's that mat? It's clipped to the cup all the time. And you put the cup down wherever you want because it's got a mat on it.
I think I've seen that.
But why does it have to be clipped to
No,
it? Why couldn't it just be built into the cup?
Because,
So it clips onto, you got our special cups, it doesn't clip onto every cup.
No, but just the same way that every saucer is different. You don't say, oh, I'm sick of this saucer, it doesn't fit a mug. You use the saucer that... I mean, I don't use saucers. Just don't buy that sort of
But isn't a
furniture.
saucer what you're talking about?
Kind of, yeah, but it's clippable.
But why is the clippability so important to you?
So you don't have to keep finding the mat when you put the cup down. It's constantly clipped to the cup.
But why does it have to be clippable? Because that suggests it's removable. Why not just have something where it's constantly attached? What's to stop you from losing that in much the same way as you lose the coasters?
Do we need this? Do we need a clippable coaster?
Let's ask him like it's the Dragon's Den. Let's ask him now.
What?
We've got money to invest on your clippable cup. Now pitch this idea to us. How would you sell this idea to us?
You just said, what was your question then?
Brilliant. So you're not listening. Let's start again.
I am.
Okay, imagine you've walked in. What is it for?
What is it for? Is it a coaster to stop the heat from the cup burning the varnish?
Rick, let him explain.
Or is it a saucer to stop
look
spills?
At it.
Let's have you pitch this idea to us. Just you've never met us before. We're investors. Tell us. Explain this to us. Sell it to us.
Right. We're living in a world where furniture is important to people. They spend a lot of money on it, don't they, furniture?
Yeah,
There's so many furniture shops out there.
Yeah.
All different types of wood from all over the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? If something's come from the Amazon, you don't want a coffee stain on it.
No, you don't know.
Right. But we're living in a world as well where people don't use saucers.
What do you mean
When you go out and buy, because people...
What do you mean we're living in a world where they don't use saucers? Yeah, there's loads of saucers, yeah.
Because I know people who buy cups singly.
Right.
Because there's only 2 people living in a flat, so you don't buy a big box, because in a big box of like plates and that, you get things like, what's the plate that's above a saucer but below a plate?
The plate that's above a saucer but below a plate. So it's a plate, but it's below a plate.
But it's a size that you sort of go, what am I doing with this?
So, what would it be? A side plate?
Maybe, but...
A plate that you'd have alongside your regular dinner plate, right?
Maybe. You put a bread roll on or something in a restaurant.
Maybe,
yeah, okay.
but
What's your point? What do you mean?
This is fascinating to me. Because this is his best attempt now to try and attract investment.
Do you know where your mats are at home?
I haven't got mats, don't use them.
Why not?
Because it doesn't bother me. I haven't got any highly polished furniture from the Amazon.
Right, Steve, have you got any sort of...
I've got some coasters and I use the coasters.
And do you know where they are when you need one?
Well, yes, because they're always at the place where I would normally put down a mug of hot tea, i.e. on a table or a coffee table.
Right, now
if I had a highly polished table from the Amazon, I'd keep my coasters on it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying now is, what happens if you get up with your cup of tea, you're a busy man, right? This is what I'm saying, we're living in a world where people are busier than ever.
Yeah, go on.
Not everybody can sit down and enjoy a cup of tea sat in the same place.
Right.
You get up and you might move into another room.
You haven't got a polished table in there from the Amazon, so it doesn't matter.
But you might be working on another expensive table.
Oh, fine, we'll have a coaster there
that has a computer on.
My question is this. One, does it fit all mugs? Or do I have to buy a special mug to have this special bit attached?
We can work it whatever way you want. We can either look at the standard size mug and say, let's appeal to everyone, or we can get in touch with some mug company.
How is it clipped?
Just like little plastic clips that clip onto it.
Yeah.
And then you clip it off and you clean it. They're dishwasher proof, by the way.
They don't need that at all.
But why can't you just make a mug that has something built in the base of the mug to prevent it from making the mark?
No,
because it's only the heat that makes the mark, isn't it, really?
I just want to say now, let's appoint this idea, and I'm out.
Right, but what about the idea that you've just suggested then, with the mug, with the saucer built in? Yeah. What about, will we do that together?
But that's not your idea, that's my idea.
Yeah, but without my idea, you wouldn't have had that.
Well, but that's absurd. We're having a conversation, I've come up with an idea, now I've got the money. I've got the money, and I'm going to go off with that idea.
Yeah, you haven't painted it anyway, and it's a rubbish idea, and you couldn't.
It's not rubbish, because I've just thought as well, that'll be good for putting biscuits on the side as well.
Okay, no.
That means we can get rid of that plate that I don't know.
By the way, now this is broadcast, you can never patent this idea because it's out in public domain.
Rick, why don't we see if there's anyone out there who's willing to invest in this idea? Are you a mug manufacturer? Are you a mug designer? Are you someone who's got any interest whatsoever in this idea? Do you think it's a saleable idea? And more importantly, would it be not great to have a picture of Karl's face on the mat?
Because it's perfectly round.
Perfectly round.
As well, and you'd scold him every time you...
So there'd be a certain satisfaction in that.
Yeah, well, if Peter Jones is listening, or that Ballantyne fella, or, what's his name?
Any of the big investors on that show, or indeed any investors anywhere, podcast@rickygervais.com. Get in touch. Tell us how we can move forward with this brilliant new idea.
Pathetic. Oh, Chip Martin's eyes gone and written down the little...
The jingle that signifies another reading from Karl Pilkington's diary. Got up and put the radio on. I listened to the story that the vicar read on Radio 2.
Yeah, that could be good.
He was saying how Jesus was 33 when he died. He said he was more into the idea of doing a lot in your life than living for ages. This was linked to the news about the doctor who's come up with some stuff that he's been injecting himself and his wife with that makes you age better. I looked it up on the internet. It wasn't worth them doing it because they are already old looking. I don't know why people want to stay looking young. You can wear a bald head better if you're old because hairs are replaced by wrinkles.
That's drivel.
No, it's not drivel.
Pointless.
It's just
a pointless entry to a diary, that.
It's not, because that could be like an important bit in like world history.
What?
The fact that someone's trying to make people not age. Age is good, isn't it? When you see an old person.
That's been going forever.
What has?
People trying to age better.
No, but he's talking about if you're 90, he wants people to look like they're 30, and that's not good, because how would the world run when that's going on?
Well, I agree. But
you know, when
again, it's not a revelation.
If I like chatting to old people because they know a lot of stuff. So if I'm sat on a train and someone's old, I'm happier talking to them about...
They get up and move after about 10 minutes.
Well, he likes the fact that many of them are infirm and can't.
Yeah, they have to stay there and listen to this one.
But yeah, even that means that they're getting more out of life in a way, because they don't move about as much, so they have more thinking time. It is weird how that happens to you as you get closer to death.
Jesus.
You know, you're not working as much because you're resting, and you can think back about your life, and you can think, oh, I had a good one. Actually, it's not been that bad. Whereas if...
But you must have started that now, because you've been doing nothing for the past 3 months.
Yeah, but I'm just... Well, like I'm saying, it is a good thing for you to do, to sort of think about what you've been doing with your days and your weeks.
And how do you assess your life so far? With all this spare time you've had in your hands and moping around and moaning about your illness and just sitting round, right? You've been introspecting, have you?
Yeah.
Go on then. What have you come up with?
I haven't come up with anything. I'm just, I'm just, you know, I have an all right life, and things are changing.
Oh, keep saying that.
No, but you don't know how much they are changing, to the point of, I don't know if I mentioned the squirrel eating Mars bars, but from that, from that happening to monkeys opening bottles with lids on them, to, it's mental out there. It's madness what is going on. And all I'm saying is old people need to be old people. You need oldness. You need to see old people. You need to go, right, they might have a solution. They've been on the earth longer. Quick, we need an answer. How old are you? I'm 32. Well, you look 78.
I don't know what you're saying! I don't know who that conversation was with, why you got angry, and I think you made the opposite point that you were making at the beginning. If you say you're 32, you look 78. No, you were saying about it'd be a problem if you were 78 and looked 32. Well, I don't know what you're saying. You came down on the wrong side then. You did that whole thing and you bollocksed it up again in your brain.
I'm just saying, either way, you need to have people who look old. Otherwise, who's in charge?
I don't know what you mean. Right. So you say you're saying it'd be all right to make 78-year-olds look 32, as long as there were some 32-year-olds that look 78, as long as you've got old-looking people.
No, but say
Can I tear this page out? Because it's worthless.
What I mean is, when I went to the doctors, I saw the specialist, right, about the kidney stones. I was asking him all the straight questions.
Go on.
Is it life-threatening?
No.
You know, how long am I going to be out?
Couple
all the
of
rest
days.
of it, right? Now,
as it turned out, it is life-threatening, and you've been out for 3 months whinging about the fucking thing. Strange.
Now, he was quite old. He looked about 55, and that reassured me in a way. In a way, it didn't, because he's one of them doctors who didn't open his eyes much, and I kind of thought, I hope you open them wider. I don't know what you're talking
about. What do you mean?
What?
What do you mean he didn't open his eyes much?
One of those sort of doctors who's either that overworked, that he does that, you know, when he's tired, so he's going, right, what we're going to do is, and he's doing that with his eyes shut, he's talking like that.
This is radio.
I know, but I'm telling you, so you can see.
But people are meant to be listening to this.
But if they can't imagine me with my eyes shut...
Well, tell them you got your eyes shut. Just say he had his eyes shut.
Yeah, he had his eyes shut.
Had he been reading this? Bored stupid, I imagine. He was just trying to get a...
But do you know what I mean? Or I don't know if it's because he's tired or if he's that educated that some people know so much you don't even have to look at it.
You're talking about
intelligent people
who is so educated that they don't need to open their eyes.
You see it. You see like
who's that bloke up there? Is he blind? No, he's been reading too much. He doesn't open his eyes anymore, doesn't he? No.
Old people who you see wearing tweed and what have you, and they're really posh and they talk, and whenever they talk, their eyes are shut. And they open...
don't know what this observation is.
I don't understand why you've never seen that.
I've never seen an old, educated man wearing tweed who doesn't bother open his fucking eyes.
Steve,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Steve, have you seen... Do you know what I mean? When people don't sort of open their eyes when they're talking to you, and it can be quite annoying, because it's like they're saying, I'm not interested about you sat there, I'm not bothered if you're listening, I'm saying what I'm saying because I say what I say. And it can be quite annoying.
If he has got his eyes closed, he's probably just trying to absorb what you're saying and think carefully about
probably.
it, so
anyway,
he doesn't misdiagnose you.
I'm not having a go at him.
Well,
I'm just saying he was 50-odd, and I was happy that he was there telling me...
I don't know why you were watching his eyes when he was telling you about your insides.
Because you can tell a lot by people's eyes. That's what I said about jellyfish. But, you know, just lines in a face tell a few stories, and I don't think we should get rid of them lines.
Brilliant.
Wise words.
Well, that's the end of show number 4 in this 3rd series of the Ricky Gervais Show. So it's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And, of course, Karl Pilkington.
Right.
Our Freaks Electric, Richard Atkins, Sugar Babes on XFM 104.9, Steve.
Absolutely.
I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant.
Hello.
Karl, the producer. 7 minutes past 1 of a Saturday, and what a lovely Saturday it is.
It is indeed.
Well, it looks nice and bright, but it's deceptive, because I went out, and I just had a t-shirt on, and I had my jumper on me. I got out there, and I thought, this is chilly. I had to pop the jumper on.
Oh, no!
So, you know, just if you're just, you know, looking out the window thinking, I'll go outside, pop a jumper on, or a jacket, because it looks nice, but it is a little bit colder than it looks.
Rick, can I ask, were you wearing the jumper around your waist, tied with a knot, or did you have it over your shoulders, like maybe you just jumped off a yacht?
I popped it round my waist, and I'll tell you what, I tucked my t-shirt in for neatness and comfort.
Lovely.
But even I know that's a little bit dorkish, so I was trying to hide the belt line.
Okay.
So, then I popped the jumper on, didn't have to worry about it.
Did you go with the double knot?
I didn't,
because that can loosen if you're not careful, especially if you're carrying bags or you're busy on the tube.
I know, but I wouldn't mind that, as long as I didn't lose it, as long as I saw it loosen and fall, I'd pick it up. And then, clean it. Not in the washing machine though. I'd pop it in a cold wash soak, right? And then leave it out on a few towels or something, or pop it over the radiator.
So what's the problem with putting it in a hot wash?
Well, it can cause shrinkage.
Oh no!
So coming up, we've got loads of tunes. We're going to be playing some of the best bands around, some new ones, some old ones. Might even play some Adaman. We don't know yet.
Let's have Badly Drawn Boy though, shall we, Karl? Current single.
Badly Drawn Boy there. Silent Sigh. Is that the one with the duck?
Yes. Very good video.
Apparently he stopped wearing his hat around because he keeps getting recognised. And he's going to not wear his hat when he doesn't want to get recognised.
Okay.
Maybe pop it in the wash.
So be careful, let's just have a kind of a light cold rinse.
Yeah, light cold rinse, soak it, right, because it's woolen, right, and then just leave it out on a towel. Or, you know, maybe near the immersion heater.
Sure.
Or over a radiator. Or even
on a radiator, is that a problem?
It can cause that sort of, you know, damaging to the fibres of the wall.
He had a kid last week.
Did he?
Yeah.
Who did?
Badly Drawn Boy.
Oh, right, okay.
Badly Drawn Little Boy, he's going to call it. Isn't he?
Brilliant, Rick.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's a sort of satire.
I'd like to see that as a headline in a tabloid.
Deliver, oi, oi, money, all your life. Oh. Now, going on.
Oh,
Karl,
can we explain why that's funny?
Don't panic, Karl, I'm a professional. Don't worry.
What's your concern, Karl?
What's your concern?
Nothing.
Tell us.
No.
You can say.
I can't.
You can!
This is so unprofessional.
It's... What? What have we done?
What, talking about wool?
Right.
Come on, Karl, what's the problem?
What's the problem?
You say.
He's great, and
he's so scared. Come on, Karl, tell us.
I don't know all the ins and outs, so I don't want to get into it.
What?
The thing.
No,
well, you can't, people are perplexed now. What's the thing, Karl?
What's the thing? What are you worried about? Say.
Is it an email? that's been received by the head of
Yeah,
XFM.
you've got the email open.
You can talk about. You can say what it.
Okay, let me just
without,
see. I don't understand it. Please note that under a ruling at the Old Bailey, any reference to Adamant's state of mental illness in any news report will constitute a breach of the ruling and therefore lead to serious action from his lawyers.
That's right, and that's true. Subject we can't talk about that. You can play his records and
sing his classic songs.
Sing songs.
Yeah, it's best just to leave it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what Karl was a little bit worried. There's no way I was going to mention that or influence anything, and I totally agree with the law, so don't panic, Karl.
That should have never been sent to you.
Why?
Because it's like, accidents happen.
Go on then.
When things like that happen, right, you've been told not to mention it.
Yeah.
And you're like a little kid.
Yeah.
And once things are in your head,
yeah,
it's difficult not to mention it. I mean, when I was a kid,
yeah, go on.
right,
yeah.
my mum's sister Hazel,
right,
was seeing another bloke. It's weird because she's a lesbian now. That's really weird.
That must have been an interesting Christmas.
But anyway, she was seeing this bloke, and he looked like Ken Dodd, apparently.
He looked like Ken Dodd.
Looked like Ken Dodd. So people said, don't mention it because it gets on his nerves when you like meet him and you go, oh god, you look like Ken Dodd. So I said, all right, his name is Will or whatever. And I was introduced to him. First thing I said, nice to meet you, Ken.
Did you do it as a joke, or did you?
No, because when you know that he's like, I'm not allowed to say that. I can't say that. I mustn't say that. Can't. And then I saw him. I thought, Jesus, does look like him. It just came out.
Was it Doddy who turned her into a lesbo? Do you think?
Well, he wasn't a good-looking bloke, so possibly.
She started going out with Esther Ransom though, which is weird, out of the frying pan.
What was the story with the lesbianism then? How did she announce that to everyone? What age was she when she realised?
Well, I mean, we're not a close family, do you know what I mean? We're not a sort of family who keeps in touch with everyone. And I think my mum called her up one Christmas and sort of said, how's
the Diddy men?
Yeah, how's Nutty Ash?
And she said, oh, no, I don't do that anymore. I'm knocking about with Sandra or whatever.
Right.
And it was like, oh, right.
Not big butch Sandra with the big earrings and the skinhead. Used to live down the road from you.
I don't know.
Used to get Doc Martens wholesale. That's Sandra.
But she had a haunted house.
Go on.
Who, Sandra?
No, Hazel.
Right. Is this before she was a lesbian or not?
Before.
Okay.
And there was a bike in the hall and the pedals used to go backwards.
There was a what in the hall?
That's handy, isn't it? Oh, that's great. Don't worry, we won't do anything.
So, sorry, no, I want to know about the haunted house. There was a bike in the hall, and what
There was
happened?
a bike in the hall and the pedals used to go backwards on their own. And also, shoes used to stick to the wall or something.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoes used to stick to the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like
That's a haunted
a hell of a household. Yeah. Oh dear.
Brilliant.
Maybe she should clean the walls. The Lars, and there she goes. What a great start to a show. We've had 20 minutes of some of the best banter, chatter and music and anecdote anywhere on the dial.
You're damn right. High five.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet, man, sweet.
Oh, what are we talking about? Now, well, I love that track. It's lovely. They've got a bit of the Liverpool gene pool, haven't they? That sort of doddy. You know what I mean? I like the Scouse sort of look, the Cilla Black and the Stan Boardman.
Yeah, it's particularly unique to Liverpool,
It's sort of happy in teeth and ears. And,
it's happy in teeth and ears.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant description.
Yeah.
Happy in teeth and ears.
Yeah, that's just 3 of my friends.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a great track lined up, haven't we, Karl, that I've brought in? So I'm going to go off. Now, I'm not ashamed. As you know, me and Steve aren't worried about being part of a trend or being trendy or jumping on about. Steve particularly doesn't worry about, looking good or, No, I'm saying.
No,
as a compliment, he doesn't worry about walking along like that or,
Well, I'm looking good.
No. But I'm saying you don't mind the insults freak boy or goggle eye or...
That's water off a duck's back, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Or a new phrase that's been coined because of Steve's phrase, water off a frog's back.
Who's saying that?
Just a lot of your, a lot of friends and that. But I mean...
my friends?
Yeah, a lot of the people.
Can you name names or?
I can't really.
No promises. You can't.
I can't. I can't
really.
Mess
anyone up.
I think it's the Kagul.
Looks good.
It does look.
It's
good.
waterproof, Rick, and it's also stylish. I wear nothing underneath, so it's tight to the skin. It gets sticky in bad weather.
Is that why you sort of rustle?
Sexy. But what's all the? Is there abuse?
No. They just say.
Because I'm a pretty trendy guy, but I, as you say, I cut my own trend. I make my own style. That consequently the pipe. You don't feel that's an affectation?
I don't think. I think because you're young and tall,
yeah,
the pipe looks a little bit silly.
Go on.
I mean, I know you're worried about because we've already lost the trilby.
Well, I'm worried because pipes are going to die out. I mean, this is the problem. There's no young people now who are taking up the pipe, as a smoking device.
Is there anyone under the age of, what should we say?
Oh, we've said this before, and I don't think there was no one. I think there was some nutty old woman who phoned in and said, I smoke a pipe. But I'm talking about, because years ago it was like an Oxbridge student, you'd be at Cambridge or something, you'd have a lovely pipe, tweed suit, you'd be there studying. That was, and that was the young gent always smoked a pipe, but no one is now. I'll tell you this, in the year 2050, there'll be no pipes. They won't exist.
Well, I think all drugs like nicotine and alcohol will be banned, and we won't be allowed to think our own thoughts. We'll have to live in the sewers like eating rat burgers or something. That's true enough. Won't we?
Yeah.
And it will have to download our memories or something. Probably.
Oh God!
And
but I'll be a rebel, Rick. I'll just be down there listening to jazz.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
You'll just have a little chip in the back, and you'll be going out with a big fat man with a big toga on, and you'll be touching him.
But will I think it's a beautiful woman?
Yeah, you will. Yeah. And I'll be fighting with the Rebel Underground.
No, you won't.
I will.
No.
I will. I'll be dead, won't I?
You'll be dead, yeah.
I'll be dead, yeah.
In 2050 you will.
I'll be dead.
Unless because obviously you're becoming quite wealthy now. You're becoming a very rich man, obviously, from all your, celebrity endorsements.
I'll have my brain put into a robot.
Exactly.
Made of titanium, and I'll have it,
Would you be cryogenically frozen if you could do it?
I would, but I'd leave myself out on a towel.
Right.
Never, because if you do it too quickly, there is shrinkage.
You've got to be careful. Did you read in the paper this week? This is true. Apparently the world's oldest man, who's 113, lives in some little part of Japan.
Sure.
Like little island in Japan. But apparently, the world's oldest woman also lives in exactly the same place. Now, I don't know if she's since died, but she lived in the same place as well. Do you not think there's something suspicious going on there? I mean, isn't that a bit eerie to you?
I'm thinking, have you ever seen them together? And have you ever found lipstick in his bag? I think that'll be one and the same.
I wonder if it's something like, what brought Godzilla back? There's some kind of, some antics over there.
No, there might be, they're sort of like, yeah. Although, just hearing some of Karl's stories about school, there's something going on there where he lives.
Yeah.
Did you say you did live near a sort of, nuclear plant or something?
I found out it wasn't a nuclear plant, it was a chemical plant.
My God.
Yeah. Really? And is that really true?
What colour was the tap water in your area?
It was better than it is in London.
Right.
Really?
I was talking to someone about this the other day.
Yeah.
Water in London's ropey. And I use one of them water filters.
Do you really?
And the guy down in the office was saying it's a waste of time though, because they only work for a couple of waters, like you fill your jug twice, and then the water's going through the same muck, isn't it?
That's true enough.
But so if it's not getting through, it's not getting through.
No,
if it's a filter, it doesn't matter, does it?
Still not good though.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good point.
So have you just thrown it away based on what that bloke said?
Did he sell you another one that he had on him? Did
a better updated model?
Yeah. Did he have a suit and a
When you say, he works here, was he actually hanging around outside?
Yeah. Did he have a suitcase with lots of these in? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dear.
So just go back to insults briefly.
Go on,
it's saying...
Oh, no, see, that's...
Goofy, that's not fair.
No, because that's what he said, it's in my head.
What do you mean he said that? When did he say that?
No, I mean...
When did you call me goofy?
No, he didn't. He said about what's in my head.
Hey,
no, when it's...
come on.
Come off it. Don't
What? Who's calling me goofy?
No.
I'm not even goofy. Goggle-eyed's fair enough.
Yeah, but you can sort your look out, I can't.
What do you mean how can I sort my look out? I'm not even goofy, that's not fair.
You've got the proper features.
What?
Just needs sorting out a bit. I can't help it if my hair's not good.
I noticed the other day when Karl was sitting on your knee having his picture taken. It's a long story, right? He's got a completely spherical head. It's slightly too small. I'm not being funny because I mean, I'm not perfect. But he's got a completely spherical little head. He looks a little bit like a baby Hamburglar. You know Hamburglar off McDonald's.
Sure.
He looks like a little baby Hamburglar. And it's sort of quite put upon. It's
Suzanne thinks I look like that thing in that Dulux advert. Do you know when the woman pulls the head off that?
That little plasticine morph type
and then they
creature.
make a new head for it. And it's like a little head.
Really?
And that's your girlfriend saying it.
I know. Anyway, listen, let's get back to business here. This is a great track. It's America by Simon and Garfunkel. This is where I started saying we don't care about being trendy and all that. That was it. Strokes, last night, XFM 104.9, we're flying now, 35 minutes into it. No real hiccups, I don't think that
Not so far.
It's going really well. My name's Ricky Gervais, with me Steve.
Hello there.
Karl. Alright, coming up soon, White Van Karl. We ask Karl the questions that the Sun asked someone else.
Exactly.
It's a good feature.
It's a great feature.
I'll be testing Karl on the new re-education of Karl, as you know. He got a GCSE.
It's the last one, isn't it?
In history. It was the last heavy sort of one, yeah.
No.
And so Winston Churchill. Well, yeah, because we're going on to more sort of metaphorical and metaphysical sort of pursuits, aren't we?
Not that book.
Yeah, that's the Aesop
I can't
Fables.
read that in a week.
You don't have to read it.
Right,
Just choose the ones about the foxes eating penguins. You'll like that. Steve, over to you.
Thanks very much. I wonder if I don't think we've made much progress yet on sending Karl into sort of into the air with the.
No,
balloons.
this has gone a bit ballistic.
I've
Actually,
gone off the idea.
oh no, shut
No,
up!
don't. You haven't gone
But
off yet.
we've inflamed the imagination of the capital. There's people offering left, right, and centre, and I think it's a good idea. But I think we should you know, make a day of it. I think we should send you up in some balloons, right? Maybe you know.
Well, hang on, Rick, before we
compare
carry
a
on,
show.
let's explain what happened because people might not have listened last week.
I don't believe that.
There are one or two, Rick.
I don't believe that.
People who were
Name
ill,
them.
maybe out of the country.
Okay.
Yeah, so last week we discovered, was it that 623, is it 6,000?
No, I read that 6,000 balloons filled with helium can lift a bloke off the floor.
I think that's too many. I think we could do it for less. Certainly.
Well,
with
anyway,
you.
listen, there are various organisations which actually exist already that can provide this kind of entertainment, this kind of fun. I mean, I didn't realise there was a whole kind of market for this already, but apparently there
Nor
is.
did I, no.
Incredible. Anyway, so we're going to try and track one of them down. We're going to see if they can organise it so that you, Karl, can float into the air. We need to get you, is it at least 11 feet up?
Yeah, if it's
And
just
I think certainly higher. I mean, I can't remember what the record is, but it's quite a long way.
11,000.
11,000 feet.
Yeah, but I think they're all official. I want to do it with like those little balloons you get for £1 at the zoo. Or
I don't
something.
think that can be right, health and safety wise. I don't think that can be healthy.
I think if we get him to sign something, which I will,
Okay.
I think we'll cover
It'll be fine.
ourselves.
But yeah, certainly we're thinking of maybe making it a bit like, is it Tea in the Park? The
Yeah.
Capital FM,
Yeah,
event,
the
you know.
big
We
event.
could get sort of Steps, at least H from Steps can come down and
Yeah.
host the event.
I mean, I don't mind comparing it. Steve's gonna do. Steve's learning to sort of like scratch and mix and beat match, and I mean, you're getting pretty.
I'm making a lot of progress, yeah. I'm
You
going on.
are going to be a turntablist.
Yeah.
Steve never learnt an instrument, which he regrets. You know, and you know, he's a modern lad, and he's using turntables as his instrument.
I just got 2 turntables and a microphone, and so far, I mean, seriously, I'm cutting it up big style. No, don't laugh, because it is mental, the kind of stuff I'm coming out with. And I'm scratching, I got the beats, you know, matching.
Can you imagine that?
Shut up! It's that.
No, if-
look at the Chemical Brothers, for goodness sake. If you're talking about freaks, look at those things. Man alive!
At least you cut your hair at Gavin.
You know that
whatever it's called.
they used to kind of at least faintly appear in their videos. So this
Yeah.
one is just some shots of like what you see from outside a train.
I know.
To them, that is more glamorous and exciting, apparently, than
Yeah.
seeing the lads themselves in the video.
Who do you think's cooler to look at, Steve or the Chemical Brothers?
Steve.
Definitely, yes, you're absolutely right, Karl, and that's the first sensible thing you've said for a
If
long
I was
time.
to work with Steve on some music,
Yeah.
if I had the choice, I think Steve would look better on a album cover.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you change him at all? What would you do with his image?
I'd put him in the distance, so I
I can't believe this is.
No,
is
just so you don't look as tall, that's doing you a favour.
You know, I was on the. This is true. I was on the tube, right, coming in to meet Gervais the other day, and I was wearing a suit, and my mobile phone slipped out of my pocket, and it landed on the seat, and I didn't realise this. And as I was about to get off, some bloke who was sat there like an old guy, he picked up the phone. He went, "Oi, lanky, you dropped your mobile phone." And I was like, "Well, I thank you for pointing out I dropped my phone, but did you have to do the lanky?"
But you knew who he meant. I bet you turned round straight away. It worked.
knew he meant
Yes,
Steve.
but-
He's done you again.
But
he's
I was
picked
the
you
only
up.
person stood up. It was a fairly empty train.
Was there any other lanky people there?
No.
Well then.
No, but my point was there was no one else at all who was about to exit the train.
Okay, so he didn't need lanky.
He could have gone, "Excuse me, sir," or "Oi, you," anything, but "Oi, lanky."
I know.
It's that thing, though, isn't it? That's what I'm talking about. You say the thing that you don't want to say. It's like me with Ken Dodd and Will.
I think he wanted to say this.
Oh, well.
I think he took pleasure in it.
I think he went, "That bloke's lanky. I shouldn't say that." Yeah, I should. Oi, lanky.
What's
You
he
dropped
gonna
your
do?
phone. Yeah. Do you want your phone back or not?
But this balloon thing, anyway, it's got a bit out of hand.
Why
No.
has it got out of hand? What are you
No,
worried
it's
about?
funny. I just want to. I want to sort of like tie them all to the back of your belt. So as you go up there, you sort of tip forward slightly, so you're going up slightly upside down.
We could paint some advertising on your bald head.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll do that, Lanky.
That'd be great.
Here he comes.
No, I mean, last week it was just a bit of fun about going, like, just lifting my feet off the ground.
No.
And that's a big difference to what it's got now.
No, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll do 100 feet in the air, and I'll hold on to the rope.
But we'll do it at Wembley Arena. We'll sell tickets. But it'll be for charity, Karl.
It'll be for charity.
No, we'll have lots of underprivileged kids coming along to see it,
It's
you
just got out
know.
of hand. It's like, you know, I like karaoke, but I wouldn't want to go on Stars in Their Eyes.
Sure.
And it's got out of hand. That's how it's grown too big. I don't.
Who
like
would you
it.
do if you were on Stars in the Eyes?
I'd do that.
Moby?
That Jack the Knife song. I love
Jack the Knife.
Old Mac Heath. That one, yeah?
Is Mac the Knife?
That's what I do.
But which
He'd do a hip-hop version.
But which of the many singers would you impersonate? You can't. It's not the song, is it? It's the singer.
You could do Jimmy Somerville, I think, quite well.
Yeah, Somerville you'd be good at.
Moby. Did Morph bring out a single?
I don't think Morph did.
Didn't he?
No, I'm not sure.
Didn't he have a theme tune? Did Morph? Phone in if you think Morph.
Morph didn't speak, Rick. Let him
Didn't he?
sing.
Morph hardly had any features.
True.
Right.
Express 2 featuring David Byrne, Lazy, XFM 104.9, quarter to 2, I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve's got the sun.
Yes,
We're just going to be doing White Van Karl, where we ask Karl the questions the Sun asked some other bloke.
That's right.
Because we think Karl's got more to say than anyone on anything. Karl only tells the truth, by the way. Just remember that, listeners. Off you go.
Yes, well, today's White Van Man in the Sun is John Slade. He owns his own door maintenance company. His answers are very informative, I have to say. But, Karl, what do you make of the Channel 4 producer, aged 30, who duped a school into believing he was a teenager for a documentary? Are you familiar with this story?
No, go on.
Well, basically, a 30-year-old guy kind of fooled the school into thinking he was a pupil for a secret documentary. The school's outraged. Do you think that that's, for you, should anything go when it comes to making TV?
I think I've said to you before, there's loads of kids at my school. I remember being in the first year, and kids who, what year do schools go up to? I was in the first year, what is it?
11.
5?
Oh, sorry, first year of infants and juniors.
No, secondary school.
11.
Right, year 11. Kids have beards and stuff.
No, not year 11. They're 11 when they first go to secondary school.
Right. Well, I'm 11. The kids at the older end.
Well, there's a fifth form, and then there's
you can leave when leave when you're 16, I think, can't you now?
Right. Well, kids who were 16 looked old. They did have beards. I remember going there and thinking some of them were teachers.
I think he's answered that. Next one. What's the next one?
Tattoos and everything. I think they're kids in the earlier years even.
What do you make of the fact that Mariah Carey's £38 million payoff has cost EMI staff their jobs, and we're talking 1,800 EMI staff who have lost their jobs?
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean,
is that silly money, Mariah Carey, on 38 million?
She doesn't need that much.
She doesn't need that much. She has to dress nice, though.
It's not her fault. I'd say, it's bad business.
Okay.
Because, EMI, did you say?
Yes.
Right. They've got rid of them staff.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey's left. Who's going to do the work?
do you think Mariah should come back and do some temping?
Well, they should have got a loan and paid her.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Vicious circle, that.
Right.
Have you done a business degree or anything?
Commerce.
You did commerce.
Yeah.
Where did you do that? What did you do that?
At school, I'd learned how to fill out a cheque, pay a bill, and I think I had a trip round Kellogg's.
Did you get an O level or a GCSE?
We know he didn't.
You know.
But was there a commerce exam, or was it just a division of maths?
Remember.
What did you fill out a
Was
check?
it a subset of
It
maths?
was an option. It was like, if you want to do it, you can.
What was it? Fill out a check.
Pay a bill.
Pay a bill.
Have a visit
I
round
nipped
Kellogg's.
round Kellogg's, and I saw my sister's boyfriend there at the time. He sorted me out with some variety packs.
Really? What was in them?
You know, Rice Krispies and
Good stuff.
Cocoa Pops?
Space Dust or whatever it is.
Space Nuts.
So, sorry, that wasn't Ken Dodd, though.
No.
That was someone else, wasn't it? That was an aunt.
That was it, yeah. That wasn't Special K. Oh, dear.
What about this then? Home Secretary David Blunkett admits that muggers rule some streets.
Weird this, because when I was out with you...
I don't believe it's going to be weird, whatever you say,
No,
Karl. Go on.
when we were in that pub that night and we got talking about muggers and that, the tip is, what I tend to do, because I nearly got mugged once. Act
You
mental.
what? You nearly got mugged once.
I nearly got mugged.
Yeah.
But I tried this technique of acting a bit mental.
Right, and how did you act mental?
Well, this guy wanted me trainers. And I was in Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester. It was quite late one night. And he come up, he said, I want them trainers. I said, you want them? I said, I worked hard for these. He said, how dare you come to me asking? And I got a bit livid. And I he looked at me like, oh my God, he's got a right one here, and he left me.
Were you acting mental, or were you just mental?
No, I put it on a bit.
Were you not petrified then?
Well, you don't think about it, do you, when you're sort of in the eyes of danger?
Well, not you. Clearly, you're a brave man. So, what did you say?
I just went a bit mad. I just kind of, because he said he wanted the trainers, and they were dear ones at the time, and I just, no, you're not having these. So I've crafted you. I said I wanted these trainers.
Yeah.
And went on to tell him how I work at printers and I don't enjoy it, and I put in all these hours and that, and I have to cycle home for about 5 miles. And
did he give you his trainers?
Yeah.
Did he have a knife?
I just left. No, it didn't get that violent.
Well, that's very brave of you, Karl.
Yeah, it's
that's
good.
Good advice, though. Just act mental.
See, Watts actually tried it the other night.
Oh, Liza Minnelli?
Yeah.
Well, she says, I've worked hard for these diamonds. Yeah. It's not easy being the daughter of Judy Garland. You don't know what it's like.
Finally, apparently, there was a crook that got a security job at Heathrow. Right, he was a crook and he got a job at Heathrow. As robbers steal another £2 million. Apparently security down there is lax.
Yeah.
Is that concern for you?
Is this another?
Yeah.
2 million.
Yeah.
Why is all this money at the airport?
It's those sandwich shops. You know how they're really expensive, the sandwiches in, like, when you're in a plane? They're like £2.50 for tuna, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That's basically the reason.
What do you mean, why is all this money at airports?
Well, what is it doing there? Why?
Have a go. No, have a go answering this yourself. Why is anything at an airport?
It's going somewhere.
Or coming in from somewhere.
Yeah, but money, you can sort it out through the bank, like phone banks and that.
Have you done commerce? You know a lot about paying bills and writing out checks. Yeah.
Tell us about Kellogg's.
What was it like? What was in the factory? Was it just like squashing bits of corn?
Pretty boring, really. Just loads of conveyor belts,
Yeah.
boxes of cornflakes everywhere. Just what you imagine.
Yeah.
So is it more, this is where you might be working? This is where you're likely to work?
Possibly. There was 2 trips. There was that and a trip to Manchester Evening News.
Okay.
And I left that early because I had a job in Cordon Bleu.
In Kellogg's.
Cordon Bleu, what's that?
It's like a supermarket.
Yeah?
And I had to leave the trip early, and the teacher went mad saying they thought I'd got lost on the, in the building and stuff.
What, you didn't tell anyone?
No, because it was like day 2 of working in this supermarket, and I couldn't be late. I thought by the time I explain where I've got to go and everything, I'll be even later.
Sure.
So I just left, and then apparently they were searching the building and everything for me.
How old were you?
Stuck in a printer. Don't know.
Stuck in a printer?
I don't know.
What was the printer's name?
You worked at a supermarket called Cordon Bleu.
Yeah. Cordon Bleu!
Brilliant.
That's great, isn't it?
It's rubbish.
Oh.
Got sacked.
What did you get sacked for?
Messing about in a, back in the car park round the back.
Yeah.
Right, there was a grid, and all the concrete had gone funny, so when it rains you got like a big lake.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I got in, do you know those big metal trolleys you get to like put all the food in whilst
Oh, yeah.
And I got in one of them and pushed myself out into this lake.
Of cement?
No,
of
it
water.
was full of
it was
water
water,
because it'd been raining.
Right.
And I got stuck in the middle, right? And the boss was like, where's Karl? He's meant to be doing, facing up the beams. And I was like...
And you were stranded in a lake.
So someone said, I saw him messing about out the back. He came out and saw me stuck in the middle of this lake in a trolley. And he said, get back in. I said,
Would you say, no, I'm filming sharks?
I said, it's too deep. I can't get out, you'll have to pass me something. And he said, I'm not passing you nothing. He said, you can get out of there and walk through it. I said, I'm not, I've got my trainers on, probably the same ones.
Yeah, you've risked
actually.
your life for them.
Yeah. I said, I'm not getting these wet. I said, he said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to wait for the water to go down the grid. He said, the grid's blocked, now get out or you're sacked. I said, well, I'm not getting out. He said, right, you're sacked.
So you were sacked? How long did you have to wait for the water to go down the grid?
In the end, I did get bored, and I sort of did a bit of a leap and a jump and got 1 foot wet.
How long were you waiting?
Maybe about half an hour.
Just think of it. Just think. I mean, how did he get himself into that situation? That's fantastic. Should we play a record?
Oh, definitely. That's
Your
a
choice.
joy. Oh, you're an absolute pleasure. More White Van Man next time on the show. Electric Soft Parade. I keep trying to get the album for free from you, Karl. You've not sorted me out yet. I have to rely on other people to give me different copies
No,
of
I did
the different
try,
tracks.
I'll keep trying.
Please do. This is one called There's a Silence, Electric Soft Parade.
Gomez and Shot on XFM 101.9. Sorry,
I was going to tell Steve something. Talk amongst yourselves. When you were out there, Johnny Mango phoned up and said to Karl, "Come on, when are we going to do this thing?" And Karl got all nervous, right? And he went, "You don't want to do it, do you?" He said, "Well, it's going to get out of hand. I just wanted to go as high as a tree." And he went, "Well, you can. I'll hold you down with a rope." He went, "Yeah," but he said, "but when the crowd are there and they're all screaming higher, higher, I'll feel the pressure and have to go along with it." What crowd? What crowd is this? Higher! No, higher!
We don't live in a medieval era. There's not going to be dancing bears and tumbling midgets. Well, I don't know, that's an idea.
Hold on. If there's anyone got any of those...
Tumbling midgets would be amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Less balloons, cheaper to do.
Oh, you're going up.
No, you're going up with them. No, you're going up with not just... No.
With a midget under either arm. Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, it's time for the re-education of Karl Pilkington. This week Karl was studying the life and times of Winston Churchill. What did you make of it, Karl? What did Churchill do for
you?
Well,
last week I made a bit of an error with Hitler.
Yeah, you
tried to remember too much, and it was way too much for me.
Sure.
So what I've done this week, sort of flicked through, got a few of the basic facts.
Yeah.
And what I've learned, right? Bit weird the way all these people have something in common, that they're all a bit weird when they're younger.
Okay.
They've got some sort of illness.
Go on.
Well, you know, Rasputin, he wasn't well as a kid.
Yeah.
Che Guevara.
Oh, this is Rasputin, the mad monk, wasn't well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Che Guevara.
Yeah.
Asthma, really bad asthma.
Mm.
Hitler, he was
only
a
one
bit mental.
Yeah.
Only one. His mother.
He was a bit mental. That could be libelous.
Yeah.
And who have we done? And Churchill.
Yeah.
Very weak child.
Was he?
He only spoke to his dad 4 times in his whole lifetime.
Really?
Yeah, didn't get on with his dad.
Right.
And I think one of the times when his dad spoke to him, he was having a go, saying he didn't do as well in the army as he wanted him to.
Right.
So that's pretty sad bit I picked up of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that spurred him on, anyway.
Yeah. I'm not going in all the ins and outs. Very important bloke.
Okay.
No, seriously. I mean, your dad bought the tapes, didn't he?
Yes.
And I can understand why. Because he did change a lot for us. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be sat here now talking like this.
Why?
We could have been German.
Yep.
He didn't let that happen.
No.
Everyone had a go at him, right? When I think it was Chamberlain who was in power.
Yeah.
And he was like saying, "Don't be trusting that Hitler."
Yeah.
You know. And everyone was like, "Look, stop causing trouble." Chamberlain sorted it out, you know, he sorted out a peace agreement.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I don't trust him." And everyone's like, "Oh, you know, you're just causing trouble, you know, everyone else is happy." Then it turned out that Hitler did actually do the dirty.
Yeah.
And try and come over.
I remember, didn't he do something, he started a war or
so
something?
There was a conflict of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started a problem. And everyone went, "Hang on a minute, that Churchill knew what he was talking about."
Yeah.
Get him back in charge.
Sure.
And they got him in, and Hitler was scared of him because he knew that he wasn't going to be having any lies or anything. He couldn't try it on with Churchill.
Yeah.
And,
especially when he was a little bit pissed up and coked and with a big
was?
cigar. Churchill.
He wasn't he wasn't doing that.
I think a lot were during the war, in the war cabinet. I think they had to have things to keep him awake all night and stuff, and he certainly liked a brandy.
Rick, Winston Churchill was coked up, was he? I mean, sorry, this is something I wasn't aware of.
If there are any historians listening, if I'm wrong, I'm
was that
very
in the
sorry.
World at War?
No, I don't
Winston
think
Churchill
so.
was
Any historians or experts on war? Did Churchill and not some of the other people during I think the First and Second World War take a little bit of cocaine?
So when it said that
Doctors certainly used to.
Hitler liked cakes, would they be like the funny sort of cakes?
No, he probably did like a little bit of Madeira cake.
Right.
Yeah, there's probably nothing like that. Sorry, carry on.
So, anyway.
He beat the Bosch.
Yeah, did all that.
Oh, that's steady on. His personal life's nothing to do with it.
And the most amazing bit is, right, he wasn't fit, and he had a couple of
Well,
strokes.
he's a good-looking bloke in many ways.
No, he had a couple of strokes, but he had a stroke on, say...
We've had that. He beat the Bosch. He likes to have a couple of strokes.
Yeah.
Let's not get into innuendo, Karl. It's stupid.
Right, say he had like a stroke on a Tuesday. he was up and fighting again on a Wednesday.
Really?
He was a strong bloke.
Yeah.
And then he died at about the age of 86 or something.
He's a good lad, wasn't he?
He was really good.
Yeah.
Is he the one you favour most of all the
I'd
ones
say
you've
out of all, I mean, Rasputin, I don't understand why he got, like I said, I don't know why they made a book on him.
No.
He just didn't deserve it.
No.
Che Guevara, you know, he had his time, I suppose, and did a bit good for certain people.
Sure.
Sorted Cuba out.
Yeah.
Doesn't really affect me.
No.
Hitler, I mean, enough said.
Yeah.
Bad bloke. Churchill sorted it all out.
Yeah.
And like I
So
said,
your favourite out of the four of them, the of all those four, is Churchill.
yeah. I think he's
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
I agree. I agree with you, I think.
What I love with your kind of sort of summary of these people's incredible lives is the way that it's almost like I remember in Lookin' magazine. I don't remember Lookin'. It was the Junior
Yeah, I
TV
remember
Times.
Lookin'.
They used to have half a page, which was a comic strip, summarising someone's life. You might have, say, 5 Star, the story of 5 Star,
Yeah.
and he'd have a picture. I always remember the Roger Moore one
Yeah.
was a picture of like Roger's parents. It was like Roger Moore was born in 1930. Picture of Roger's parents. Roger grew up during the war. Picture of Roger running down the street, right?
Yeah.
This is a school kid with a Spitfire coming behind him like it was going to try and shoot him.
Mr. Smith, surely.
Exactly, Mr. Smith, yeah. Roger took up acting. Picture of Roger like acting.
Yeah.
Roger became James Bond. Roger's now a popular, star in his own right, and does a lot of work for charity. Brilliant. It summed up the whole thing in kind of
I think
5
they used to
pictures.
have that in one of the TV Times or the
Yeah,
Sun.
I think they may have
I
done.
remember sort of when it was Tina Turner, what's it, born Sarah May Bullock. Then it was Nutbush City Limits. Stop hitting me, Ike.
Yeah.
And then simply the best, and that was it. It was great.
And that's very much what how your summary of great events is.
But I'd
Carl.
say if you didn't know about Churchill, you've learnt a bit today.
I was
Especially-
can people call in to
yeah.
all these
If you
fellas
want.
taking cocaine? I think
what's-
I'm right.
what's the
It's
number?
08700 800 1234.
Yeah.
Give us a call, XFM 104.9.
Did Winston Churchill and various other dignitaries take coke during the war?
During the war, staying up for the war effort, but the emergency summits and meetings, I think it was. I think it's been documented. I could be wrong, and let me tell you now, it's not happening today. Wow.
Pete, you're on there.
He's there, isn't he, to save me? For Nancy, XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me, Steve Merchant and Karl. I'm getting excited now, because we've had loads of calls and emails, not only backing me up, but going a little bit further. Apparently, Johnny Mango called in again. He's become our sort of official researcher on this show. There is evidence that Queen Victoria in Balmoral, with a young house guest, Winston Churchill, used to consume cocaine-filled lozenges. So, there you go. Also, MDMA was a precursor of sort of ecstasy, a derivative, and that was big in the day, giving soldiers, a little pick-me-up. So, it's not so mad, is it?
It sort of
Winston
makes
Churchill
sense,
taking cocaine,
because
is
he
it?
was into his speeches and that, and they say that coke gives you sort of, the balls to stand up and say, like...
Not that that's a good thing. And
No,
you
it's
should-
not.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Right? But apparently it it makes you confident, doesn't it? So you can stand up and say, we're going to fight them on the beaches.
Yeah.
And all that, and sound
Yeah.
like you mean it.
Oh, exactly, yeah. When he was sort of like, a little bit pissed up with his cigar on, coked off his tits, he wanted to fight. He didn't care where it was. He'd fight on a beach. He didn't care. He didn't care if he got sand in his new trainers.
Exactly, he was boozed up.
Yeah, yeah. You want to fight? Yeah, that's why he was coming hard.
He was very much, you got to think of him as the Liam Gallagher of his day.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Bad.
Are we allowed to talk about this? I mean, I don't mean in terms of referencing drugs, but are we allowed to, is this like libelous to Winston Churchill?
One,
Or
you
his
can't
family.
libel the dead.
Yeah, but
Two,
can you-
it's a
is
lot
that
of
only
it-
in America, maybe?
I'm asking, and we're not saying, two, I think you'd probably going to also a fair comment. Three, we say we were joking.
Yeah.
4, it's a satire.
Yeah. 5, we love him.
5, we're not condoning drugs in any way.
6, this is Dermot O'Leary's show.
I didn't have a go at him anyway. I said he's alright. If there's any law against Rasputin, we might be in trouble.
Law against
A law
Rasputin.
against
You did
Rasputin.
willfully Raspute
Yeah.
all over
You
the
did
airwaves.
slag off Russia's greatest love machine.
Yeah. You didn't shoot him till he was dead, did you? Oh, put some poison into his
I'll tell you this,
wine.
if there's any other historical questions that people want answered, then we're the men. Because really, with the three of us, our knowledge of the fact that the Hindenburg was filled with helium,
Yeah.
the kind of coke habits and various drug habits of Britain's most famous political leader,
Yeah.
we've got the answers to all of it.
Einstein,
Go on.
I found out in the week that he didn't talk till he was 6. See, it's all it's all these people who are weird.
Churchill couldn't read, could he, till he was about 8 or 9?
Really?
Yeah. So, there you go. He got a D in history, apparently, GCSE. Just one better. No, but, Karl, called me in the week, and he was a little bit stressed, because he's had a bad week now. He got stressed about Hitler and Churchill, and I said, well, we're chill out a little bit, and I'll teach him something a little bit, cosier. And I said, what about animals? No, not frightening other animals. You're interested in animals, aren't you?
Yeah.
And he went, all right then. And then he went, okay, here's a question for you, Clever. So there's 3 animals without ears. He said, and I've told you one. And I went, well, that's the snake, because he was talking about the snake. I went, hold on, Karl, there's loads of animals without ears. He went, there's not, there's 3. I went, there's loads. I said, jellyfish, worms, single-cell protozoa, peripherous. But he went, oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Animals, proper animals. I went, they are animals. He went, no, proper animals. And I went, do you mean mammals? He went, what are you on about? I said, are these animals, have they got legs, and are they fur-bearing, right? And he went, one is. They've got legs. I went, I don't know, I give up. He went, right, the turtle. I went, right, yeah. And he went, and the bumblebee. He said, that's the one with fur. That's the one with fur. The one, what are you thinking? What is in your head, Karl?
Which has got the most fur, a bee or a turtle?
It's not fur.
What is it?
Well, it's,
He's done you there, Gervais.
Pseudo hairs, isn't it? It's like it's a hair, it's a keratin thing. It's not like we have, like mammals grow fur. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not convinced.
So go
when
on,
we say that, when we say like fur, mammals are warm-blooded creatures.
Yeah.
Often, usually placental. There's a few exceptions, right? That give their milk to their young, nurture their young, and they have fur.
Have you heard about oysters? Oysters. They 1 minute they're a man, then they're a woman, then they're a man again.
Like Eddie Izzard. Now that's libelous. He's a transvestite, could I say? He's not a transsexual. Let's say that straight away. I'm retracting that.
Right, go on then. Give us some more facts.
No, I've got you, Aesop's Fables.
No, but you had some more facts you told me that were dead good. I just wondered if Steve knew them.
What? What do you want to know?
The ones that you read out to me. You had one about the spiky thing.
Go on.
Porcupine.
Give me a clue.
How many spikes has a porcupine got?
Dunno.
How many was it?
I think it was about 10,000. But these aren't the most interesting facts, are they?
It's alright.
It's alright though, isn't it? Yeah. And he went, but how can they say that? You could say that, we've got a certain amount of hairs in our head. I went 100,000 average. He went, yeah, but I haven't. So how do we know that that porcupine that they've counted is the same for all of them?
Might have had alopecia.
yeah, he might have been a particularly hairy one. You know what I mean? Right, you've got a, do you know what a fable is? I tried to explain briefly. Do you know what a fable is?
I've got a rough idea.
Okay, it's a thing that uses sort of metaphor, analogy, just to explain sort of morals. I mean, they're very old for a start, and it's all. I'll give you an example of one. A quick one. Oh, the one about the dog with 2 bones. He goes to a dog's got a bone. He sees its reflection in the lake, and he thinks, "Oh, that dog's got a nice bone. I'll have that." And as he goes to get that one, in the reflection, he drops the one he's got, and that's one about,
I think I was told one when I was younger.
Go on.
I think it was one. This young lad, he's got a dog, right, and he's about 8 years old, and this dog, he's had it since he was about 4, and it's a bit tired now, and he chucks sticks for it, and it doesn't go for it, and he's saying to his mum, "Oh, I want a new dog, because this one's useless, it doesn't do what, it doesn't have any fun with me." So they say, "Oh no, but Rover's a good little dog, you should look after it." And he's like, "Oh, I don't like it, I want a new one." So they buy him a new puppy, and it's running around, yapping about, and he's loving it, and he's playing around with it in the grass. And then one day he goes to the park, and he's messing about and rolling about with it, and he falls into the lake, right? And the little puppy's like yapping at him, and he's going, help me, and the little dog's yapping. And then the old dog comes and gets his collar, and it pulls him out of the lake, and he goes, "Oh God, why did I forget about you? You're the better dog." And he loved that one again rather than the puppy.
I got a feeling that was Lassie.
Well, yeah, that was an episode of Lassie. What's the moral? What's the moral there, Karl? What's that telling? What's that explaining through analogy?
Sort of, don't forget the old.
Look after old people. I remember there was one I heard once about a young boy who got trapped in a lake inside a cage.
But he loved his trainers so much.
He wasn't going to get them wet. But even though he had to get out there,
and even though he thought that was the important thing because it's material value, he actually drowned, and the trainers were no good to him then.
I'll say that.
Hives, hate to say, I told you so. Now I want to clear a couple of things up. Obviously, me and Steve, we love Karl. This is the things we give Karl to read and talk about. It's not to embarrass him or stress him out at all. We genuinely like his view of the world.
Yep.
In fact, we did an interview yesterday with a bloke from the Standard who really liked the show and said, do you like Karl? Because you take the piss out of him a lot. You know, we just like to say, we love Karl. I said to that bloke, I said, it's like I've got a new kitten. I can't wait to get in and see his little face on Saturdays, didn't I?
yes.
And I think I'm worried because I thought I'd give Karl something he was really get his teeth into with these Aesop fables. It involves animals and little stories. But I've given him a couple and he doesn't seem to be that impressed or understand the concept.
It's just that you said you'd bring in an animal fact book as well. And I can't see that anywhere.
No, well you can only read one book at a time, can't you?
Why didn't you bring the other one in first?
Well, it's big. I've got to work my way up to it. Sometime I'll probably have to get a cab. Because it's a bit big. Now listen, I'll give this one. This is an easy one. Now just think, right? Think just what it means. They're not that hidden. They're not that cryptic. Just think what this means, okay? Okay. When the hares addressed a public meeting and claimed that all should have fair shares, the lions answered, "A good speech, hairy feet, but it lacks claws and teeth such as we have."
How would you use that?
No, what do you think that means? This is translated from the I don't know Greek or something. I don't know. It was Aesop. Where's he from?
Greek.
Yeah. So shall I do it in my own language? Okay. So what would happen if there's hares and they have a meeting in the jungle with like loads of lions and go, hey, hold on, wait a minute. I think we should all be equal and share everything, all right? And the lions go, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say. We've got claws and teeth.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's saying like, course the hares want that because it's better for them. The lions get nothing out of it because they're already king of the jungle.
That's right. So it's negotiating from weakness. Anyone can negotiate from strength, but negotiating from weakness is it's be lovely. It's a lovely utopian look at the animal kingdom.
But the way you said it is better than the way they worded it.
Well, that's because Ricky's very much the modern Aesop. I mean, many people have thought that. You know, that's why he's getting a lot of awards with the TV show. For him, that's a favourite.
So look, I'll take that home and read ones you like and tell me about the ones you like. Ones that click. I don't care if you only come in with like one or two. Go, I'll tell you what, Rick, that's there's one thing that I've learnt from that. You know, because sometimes you can know all these phrases and until something happens, you don't think, everyone's heard, to, I don't know, to err is human, to forgive divine. And then something, might happen, and you go, oh, that's what that means, that's amazing. So, Do
you know any, Steve, offhand?
What's that?
A fable.
Well, I would imagine that the most famous one I've always remembered is the lion with the thing in its hoof. Do you remember that?
Paw.
The lion, yeah, with the spike in its paw, and a smaller animal gets out for it, but it still attacks it anyway.
Well, that's life, isn't it?
Well, I read one the other day, actually, which was very interesting. It was one that the famous film director Orson Welles said.
Oh, yeah?
Which he said, apparently there was a bear going across a lake, wading through the lake, and a scorpion said, well, let me go on your back, will you? Come on, just let me go on your back, we'll go across, it'll be brilliant. He goes, well, no, you'll just sting me. You go, don't be stupid, if I sting you, you'll die, and we'll both drown. And he goes, oh, fair enough.
Who was doing the stinging?
The scorpion.
Right, okay.
And the bear's wading through the water.
Yeah.
So the scorpion jumps on the back, and they wade through the water, and halfway across, the scorpion stings the bear. And the bear goes, well, we're both going to die now. He goes, yeah, it's my nature.
I thought he was going to say, I can swim.
Oh, you're the best.
What's the one about,
Does that mean anything to you? It's my nature, i.e., that's in my nature.
That's the way it is.
That's what I do, yeah. I'm a scorpion. Yeah. One of my favourite ones.
These don't mean anything to you, do they? I mean, what I'm saying is you're not impressed by them.
They're alright.
What about this? What about this one?
Don't trust bears or
here's
whatever.
here's one of my favourites. What?
He said, well, why not just say, don't trust bears?
The bear's the one that was too trustworthy. Don't trust scorpions.
Yeah.
Right, here's one of my favourite ones of all time, okay? A lion is dying, it's an old lion, he's in the front of his cave, and all the animals come around, like the foxes and the hyenas, and the rabbits, and they're all taking the piss out of him, and they're laughing at him, and they're laughing, going, you can't fight us now, and just before he dies, he goes, fine, but I was a lion once. What does that mean?
Don't know.
Well, he's saying it's better to have lived and had what I had, because I was great, if only for a short time, and you lot are still alive, but you're nothing. You're rabbits and hares. I was a lion once, so you know.
Are
I'm
they
happy.
always using animals for these stories?
Well, yeah, I could change it to refrigerators and household appliances if it would make it help, but animals, you know.
I remember the one about being ill a lot, and you say something about
Go on.
you know, if you keep doing that, if you keep having time off, I won't believe you.
That's the boy who cried wolf. Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah. Do you know that one?
Have you heard the famous one? This is possibly the most powerful one. When you're pulling a face, and they say, well, if you
Wind
keep doing that, the wind changes.
I've
You'll
heard
stay
that.
like that. Because you know that's
That's
scientifically proven.
That is.
That can happen.
That can happen.
Should we have hip hop hooray? Are
Yeah.
you queued up for that?
No, but go on, you.
Carl, sort it out, mate.
I was gonna.
No, come on, this is what I asked you to play, mate. If you've not, you know, you're getting too big for your boots now with your showbiz lifestyle. You're not paying
Yeah.
attention, are you? You're not playing
Yeah.
the record if we want you to play it.
Heat magazine's favourite.
Yeah. Okay, so,
Oh, you dropped that, you've
CD now,
embarrassed
that's
yourself.
clumsy.
Oh.
You know, you're, you know, with the big
I
name
can't
DJ,
believe you're
got
not.
the box
Fables are great.
to him. He's not impressed, is he,
No,
really?
I am. I mean, you know, once I take this book home tonight and that, and
Yeah.
have a read, I might change my mind on them next week.
You're coming all stressed. And
I'm not impressed with the ones you've been talking about, I must admit.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Sure.
this album is by this group Nerd, who are big hip-hop and R&B
Oh,
producers in the States.
yeah.
We've played a track from them in the past, Bobby James. This album's been re-recorded, I don't know why exactly, with live instruments. You don't get many R&B and hip-hop records now with live instruments, so it's pretty...
It's all computers, isn't it, Steve, these
That's true
days, and
enough.
drum machines.
And there is a forthcoming single. I suspect it might be this track, Rockstar. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to play track 2, Things Are Going to Get Better.
New Order, here to stay. Sadly, we're not here to stay, Steve. We've only got about 2 more minutes.
That's true enough.
Yeah?
Well, I think that's just time for some interesting facts that Johnny Mango, our researcher from loosecontrol.com, has emailed us. A few familiar ones, favourite ones of yours, I think.
Go on. Any ones I don't know, though?
I think you know this one, don't you? A pig's orgasm lasts for 30 minutes.
I know. And a pig can't actually look directly up. Wouldn't
can
thought
look
so
directly
after
up.
30 minutes of coming.
No, absolutely.
Daddy, be careful here.
That's incredible.
Remember what happened to Tom Bins? Go on.
Humans and dolphins are the only species that have sex for pleasure.
Bonobos do as well, they've rediscovered. Which is a
Bonobo?
Yeah,
a bonobo?
a chimpanzee, like a chimpanzee.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's 3 now.
Can't believe dolphins are getting
They're
more
3,
action than
they're all at it now. Dolphins get Yeah.
polar bears are left-handed.
Yeah. True, yeah.
Extraordinary. I don't quite know how they worked that out. Did they give them spelling tests? Or writing tests?
Oh yeah, they probably just do it. It's probably the paw they use to hide up the black nose during a hunt.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Some lions mate over 50 times a day.
Yeah, not every day of the year.
Okay, they don't do that every day.
No.
Okay, because again, I'm worried.
No.
It's like, you know, I didn't think that dolphins...
What day of the year do you do it 50 times? What, is it? It's coming up to it. It's April, isn't it? You'd like to get out there.
I have a special day, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we could coincide that with the balloon event. It'll just be me quietly humping in the corner. Volunteers, welcome to email now, you know. And all the proceeds go to charity.
If you are a desperate lioness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Butterflies taste with their feet.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
That is interesting.
But they don't eat much, do they? Because they only live a day.
Good point.
They wouldn't need to eat.
An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary.
That is, yeah.
And the,
But Karl, how big are your eyes?
cruel. Finally, I think we've discussed this before, haven't we? A cockroach will live 9 days without its head
Yeah.
before it starves to death.
Yeah, that's only because it can't get water and food. Yeah, it would be quite happy going around doing its normal things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably to work.
If you're just as good without your head as with your head,
May as well not have a head.
I don't see the point. Well, that was thanks to Johnny Mango there of what's his website called? It was turned into a sort of volunteered researcher.
Yeah.
He's very fast. very quick.
Losecontrol.com. Can I just say as well, we've had lots of emails from different people just saying they enjoy the show and offering little tidbits and things. Nick Wilson, Sarah and Lauren, Ken, Dan, Jane, she wanted some Ash, we didn't play Ash, never mind.
Oh.
Lee, Jez, Derry, there's loads of people there.
Well, I'm gonna, again, we were talking earlier about, you know, you not caring about being like a geek or a freak or
Alright,
not
that's not-
trendy. No, I'm just saying.
I am trendy, yeah.
And I know, yeah. And I'm going to play a bit of an easy listening. I apologise to those people who still tune in and expect to hear 2 hours of new metal or Gorillaz. And this is a very old-fashioned, lovely tune. It's Bread. I hope you enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Bread.
New Order, here to stay on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me.
We're here to stay.
Yeah.
For the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's Steve Merchant
Hello
there.
there.
We're with our producer here, Karl Pilkington. We'll be talking to Karl a little bit later because we've got to have his thoughts on Aesop's Fables, continuing the education of Karl. We've got some great music coming up, haven't
Bloody
we?
good music.
A little bit of, what have we got? Happy Mondays.
Badly Drawn Boy.
Yeah, all that. Bob Dylan.
All sorts.
All sorts coming up.
Yeah, Rick, I don't know, I just wanted to bring your attention to this. Someone passed this on to me. It's from the Guardian's media website. There has a sort of website that's dedicated to kind of media
Is
information.
this about our complaint?
Well, the headline is Comedian Rapped Over Radio Innuendo.
Right.
Jessica Hodgson has written the article.
Go on.
Are you familiar with this? Have you
Well,
seen
be
this?
careful now because we actually got a complaint. And people don't know this. We got a complaint upheld. And
Well, all of this
we're very sorry. We didn't mean to offend. And it was a while ago. So we are going to be very careful. Karl's getting very nervous. We're just going to read out. We're not going to editorialise, Karl. We're just going to read out what the Guardian printed about us. All right? Okay.
Comedian Ricky Gervais has had a dressing down from a broadcasting watchdog for his repeated use of the word cock in a lunchtime radio show.
That's all right. That's what
That's
it says.
fine,
Karl.
that's what it- I
he's
just-
not,
this
he's not going to
is-
say
this
it
is
again. He's
news.
not. Yeah. Go
Imagine
on.
this is the news and
Yeah.
I'm reading it.
Yeah.
The Broadcasting Standards Commission upheld a complaint against the comedian for coarse sexual innuendo
Yeah.
in the programme on London station XFM. The Commission acknowledged that the presenter's remarks were intended to be humorous, but took the view that the amount and detail of the coarse sexual innuendo had exceeded acceptable boundaries for broadcast, said the BSC in a statement. The complaint objected to a section in the comic's Saturday afternoon show when he discussed the different meanings of the word cock. Gervais wondered aloud whether the word was acceptable when discussing birds, but not the male sexual organ. A BSC spokesman said the comedian went on and on about it for nearly 5 minutes. XFM, a self-styled alternative radio station, said in its defence that its remit was to provide cutting-edge programmes for a youth audience. The station said the programme's brief was to include elements of alternative comedy within certain shows that would not fit within a more mainstream radio station format. In this particular show, it was not the presenter's intention to shock when they took a humorous look at how the English language could be construed in different ways within different contexts. Gervais, whose big break was on Channel 4's 11 o'clock show, has shot to household status through the portrayal of David Brent, the middle manager from hell in BBC Two's cult show, The Office.
Just in case you didn't know who I was talking about.
Yeah, he's a household name, but they just thought
you
it
might
was
not have heard of
clarifying.
him, but he is a household name. Now, that's good. That's good reporting, and they're quite right about it. And just to remind people, it was when Steve said the only bird that hasn't got a penis is the swan, and I went on about the male bird being called the cock, but I couldn't use that to mean, and you know, it was childish, you know. But what annoys me is, I'm sure I've heard things on like Radio 1 like that. Oh, what's what's her name in the morning, Sarah?
Cox.
Yeah, and as there's a DJ like Karl.
Cox?
Yeah, so you got Karl. What's the matter? I'm just saying.
You're just saying...
There's a pair of DJs on,
Yeah, but
you know.
we've done this.
And
What are you talking about? We're just talking
it's
about...
names. They're just saying the names. Now, I love cocks in the morning.
You're a big fan of Cox.
Oh.
And at night. What's the matter with you?
Come
Play a
on,
record,
Karl. Alright. We've taken it. We've been... Have you actually been rapped over this? Have you-
No, I don't know what
Have you
that
had a
means.
dressing down?
No.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
I was meant to tell you, and I never got round to it.
Okay. Thanks then.
So don't do it again.
Pinky Afro on XFM 104.9.
Oh,
Can I just add that in case
Yes.
you don't know what the
What
frequency is?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did they say that? Are they not, so you know what you listen to, so you go, I'll tell you what, I like that radio station,
Yeah.
and it was XFM 104.9.
Exactly.
I'll listen to that again.
You'll listen to that, you can retune.
Yeah.
I was wondering actually, Rick, I don't
Stay locked up this end of the dial.
True enough. I was wondering, because, you know, obviously we're still trying to campaign to get Karl into the air.
Yeah.
With the balloon, enterprise, and obviously the work's been done on that, don't fret, don't worry. A lot of people are asking for an update, but, you know, we'll obviously let you know when it's all gonna take place.
Yeah.
But I was wondering
These
whether...
things take time.
Exactly, but I was wondering whether we should also have another kind of campaign, some kind of campaign, maybe one that could involve you, Rick. Because I'm particularly concerned, Karl, I don't know how familiar you are with this, with Ricky's eating habits. because he eats so unhealthily.
No,
it scares me. No, come on, Rick, don't give me this.
I'm getting better now.
No, you're not getting better.
I have a smoothie every day.
Yeah, but I've told you before, that's largely sugar.
No, a homemade one.
I don't care, Rick. That's not enough. It can't counteract, right? This is Rick Gervais's idea of healthy eating, right? We'll be in the canteen at the BBC. He'll go, I'm going to eat healthy today, which means he'll have 2 slices of pizza instead of pizza and chips. That's basically that's his theory, right? And it's like, I don't know what, because he can't eat anything which basically doesn't sting the roof of his mouth with flavour. So like, for instance, he's always got headaches, he's always got a headache. Okay, that's because you just drink coffee and Coke, you never drink water, your body is dehydrated, and I said, drink a glass of water, no, boring. It's boring, water. I don't know if we were in the desert, stranded, boring. It's boring, Steve. I'll wait till the next cafe. Right, and sometimes he'll go like, oh, I'll have a salad, right? He'll get like a feta cheese salad, right? And he'll eat the little bits of feta cheese, leave the salad. Then he goes downstairs and goes, I'm still hungry. It didn't fill me up, that salad. I go, no, what didn't fill you up was the 200 milligrams of goat cheese that you ate. That's what didn't fill you up. So this should be a campaign. I don't know whether I can observe it, people could sponsor him, something. Just eat healthy, we could do it for some kind of big charity.
Fruit.
I don't think the fruit's the issue,
Rick. If you mash it, I'll eat anything.
Rick, I'm not saying that you don't eat a certain amount of fruit. I'm saying that everything else you eat is unbalanced, and it's just rich with fat, and it's awful. Yeah. It's sausages, it's beans. You're such working class scum, aren't you? It's the smell of chip fat. It's all around him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even when you can't smell it, you know it's there, seeping through his veins. I imagine when he was growing up, it was just chip fat. It was. In the house, just a big... It was. Oh, constantly boiling.
There was always chips on with everything,
exactly.
Yeah, all fried.
Do you want Weetabix in the morning? Deep fat fry that. It's such scum. And now it's like, oh yeah, my palate, I can't eat anything. It's got no flavour. Everything's got to have cheese on it. Sprinkling Parmesan cheese. More Parmesan cheese. And if someone, doesn't give him, a whole tub of Parmesan cheese when you're in a restaurant, even though he's ordered, a lobster or whatever, he sort of has a go at the waiter, or, not to their face, obviously he's too much of a coward, but he'll say to me, he should have left the cheese. He's so cheap with the cheese. They don't give me any cheese. He just gave you 3 bucketfuls. Oh, it's cheese. More cheese here. It's pathetic. So I just think we should do something, because I'm panicked. I'm worried, I'm worried.
I've started working out a little bit. I sort of work out 2 or 3 times a week.
I don't think that's going to counteract it, Rick.
And I drink water through the night when I wake up and I'm dehydrated.
From all the booze you've just drunk?
Yeah, and I have a smoothie in the morning, don't I?
You know what my views are on the smoothies. I don't think that's counteracting.
You're anti-smoothie. You're anti-smoothie.
Because I don't think it's counteracting all the other problems.
You have got a problem. There's nothing wrong with the smoothie.
Right, fine. Okay, well, if you're happy to carry on as you are.
Yeah, go on.
Badly Drawn Boy obviously has done the soundtrack to this new film, About a Boy.
Yeah.
Which has got Hugh Grant in it. And obviously, this current single, what's it called? The current one that's out? Silent Sign, obviously that's being played on XFM. But this is another track from this album, which is the soundtrack. Lots of little bits of filler, bits of musical instrumental stuff, but all of it's very nice. This is a cracking tune, track 3, Something to Talk About.
Lovely.
Yeah, good tune that, I think. Sarah and Lauren have emailed in. They said they wanted something from Elliott Smith or maybe Jimmy Webb. That's actually produced by the producer of Elliott Smith. And
is that I haven't brought any Jimmy Webb into now.
No, we'll maybe play that next time.
I'll play some next week.
That's Badly Drawn Boy, though, from the soundtrack to this film About a Boy, and that's called Something to Talk About.
We've only got the stuff in the library. Do they want 4 non-blondes? Because we've got that in the library, haven't we?
The best of Tony Basil.
And we've got just about every song that In Excess ever recorded.
Exactly. We don't play enough In Excess, do we?
I don't think we do we? No. I can't believe it. XFM 104.9 coming up. White Van Karl.
White Van Karl. I was obviously out with Karl last night. A lot of people realise this because we went out. There's what's the name of that evening?
Marketplace, extracurricular.
Extracurricular, yeah. Various XFM DJs go down there and just play an eclectic mix.
Just spin some tunes on.
Absolutely. I'm thinking of doing it in a couple of weeks, Rick. And obviously, my turntablist skills now are pretty something to behold. I tell you this, I did an amazing mix the other day with my friend Dan. We spent 2.5 hours on it. This is how we spend our evenings now. 2.5 hours mixing from a trip-hop sort of, hip-hop style beat into, Arthur's Theme by Christopher Cross.
Great
When
tune.
You Get Caught Between the Moon and New York
Written by
City.
4 people.
4 people.
Bacharach, Carol Bayer-Sager, Christopher Cross, and a 4th one.
Absolutely.
Phone in.
If you know that.
Maybe we should,
but,
who knows the 4th person credited on that tune?
If only there were a prize.
700 800 1234. Also, someone else to phone in. Right? I saw an advert. Right, there's advert toys. I think it must be. Is it because it's Easter holidays or something?
Right.
And I was watching that, and there's one of those Transformer type things, and it goes in its shield. It strikes and then goes into its shield, and it goes into a little pod. And I'm sure it was called a Bolock.
Right.
Now I must have misheard it. There's no way you can call a little kid's toy a Bolock. So, can you phone in? I'm quite willing to be wrong. It'd be very disappointing, but, you know, are people making little bowlocks for kids? No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. 700, 800, 1234. And what was the other question?
Was there the other question was who was the fourth person that wrote Arthur's theme?
Yeah.
When you get caught between the moon and New York City.
It's crazy, but it's true. Yeah.
The only thing you can do is fall in love, Karl. But I was out with Karl last night, obviously party animal, you know, he's hanging out with some of my friends. You enjoyed yourself, didn't you, Karl?
That's alright.
But you were a bit worried about Jennifer Lopez, weren't you?
Yeah.
What was the concern?
I don't really know what's going on in the pop world.
You're joking.
No.
Go on.
And, I was there in the toilets, right? And I heard it playing out on the speaker, and I heard the DJ go, there you go, that's, Left Eye Lopez there.
That's not...
And I thought, it's Jennifer Lopez.
No, it's the little one.
She had some sort of eye injury.
You thought he was breaking the news of Jennifer Lopez losing an eye by calling her Left Eye Lopez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Don't worry, we put him right, it's okay.
Yeah.
Except easy.
Yeah.
But you were worried for a while, weren't you? You were anxious for a while.
I had no idea, and the thing is, I heard that on like Thursday, so for like 3 days I've been thinking...
You've been panicking?
Why she called that? Because she changed her name before, hadn't she, to J-Lo or something.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know...
Yeah.
Has she got some people after her? Does she owe someone money? Keep changing her name.
That was Wabbai Gabrielle and Rise.
Anyway, more music, Ray?
Oh, I'd love to.
So yeah,
What have you got lined up there, Karl?
Beta band.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Sure.
Respect, total respect to that. Massive respect.
Yeah.
No, Jew, yeah, no, absolutely. Huge respect.
Right there, the Night Cycle Club there. Spread your love on XFM 104.9. I'm loving this, Steve. It's a lovely day.
Yeah. We're playing some great music.
We're playing some great tunes, aren't we?
Absolutely.
We're having some great chat.
Yeah.
So, let's carry on. Let's continue.
Well, absolutely. Well, obviously, Karl was out with me last night, and he saw that I'm, you know, he knows I'm a ladies' man, and that was obvious, Karl. You could see the vibe around me, couldn't you, when the chicks were talking to me. And, just remembered recently, actually, I was on a train coming back from, hometown Bristol. And I was on the train, and, this girl walks on, good-looking girl. I thought, hey up. Largely empty carriage. I'm thinking, my luck's in. You know, 'cause I take every opportunity, Karl. That's the thing about me. You know, I don't choose. She was a good-looking girl. She sat down. I thought, she sat down right near me. I thought, brilliant. As, this guy comes up behind her, and says, I think it's probably a boyfriend or something, sits down next to her. And I listened in on the conversation, you know, obviously, because I'm pretending to read. It was very clever. I read the same page for hours, so I was pretending to listen. I was listening, but pretending to read. And, I realised that it's not her boyfriend or anything, it's just some guy she's met on the platform. And I'm thinking, brilliant, if she's the kind of girl who's just going to start talking to someone, you know, on a platform, on a train, brilliant, I'm going to be in here. Because he was only going one stop. So I'm thinking, what's the worst that can happen? He'll nick off, you know, I'll get chatting to her, you know, and who knows, I could join the... is there a train equivalent?
Foot High Club.
The Foot High Club, brilliant. And, so I'm excited, you know, I'm listening in. And, it turns out that they're both kind of, graduates, they've just finished university, or they're coming to their finals or something. And they're chatting away, you know, and he's making a couple of witticisms, you know. And she's kind of tittering at his jokes. I'm thinking, well, I'll tell you this, if she's laughing at this kind of material, I am gonna blow her away, you know, with my kind of anecdotes and wry observations, you know. 'Cause it was weak stuff, I gotta be honest.
Really?
He was coming out with nothing. He was running on empty, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And she was loving it. So I'm thinking, brilliant, I'm gonna be right in here. And then they get moving on to higher brow things, you know, and, I think she was going to study kind of Marxism or something like that, or communism, something. And she was asking him, you know, by way of conversation, she was asking him what he knew about Marxism, you know. And he was fumbling for his vague knowledge of it that he had in his life. And I'm just sat there thinking, yeah, come on, love, in any given capitalist environment, the proletariat will revolt against their oppression by the bourgeoisie, and after a brief period of socialist rule, emerges a classist society governed by community cooperation.
Well, if that sort of talk wouldn't get a woman hot, I don't know what you'd use
if
then. If
Marx and Engels is not going to get a woman sweaty down below, then nothing is. Then my name is
You're
not
just
Steve
biding your time.
Exactly. I'm just going to go in for the kill any minute.
Yeah.
So anyway, it comes to his stop, right? He gets up. I'm thinking, this is a piece of cake. And he gets off, and off he goes. He walks off. And I'm thinking, brilliant. And I thought, I'll wait till the train's pulled away. I'm not going to leap in straight away.
No.
And he comes back on the carriage. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. He goes, listen, do you mind if I give you my email address?
Oh.
Right? And if you want to get in touch, email me. I'm thinking, come on, you loser. Get off now. Save your face. Please. Before it's too embarrassing. She accepts the email address because she obviously doesn't want to hurt his feelings, whatever. I'm thinking, fair enough. She's a good woman. I'm liking her. I'm loving her. I'm thinking, that's my kind of girl. So anyway, he gets off. I'm sat there, the train pulls away. I'm thinking, yeah, I'll wait a few minutes, you know, I'll just, you know, give it some time. Her phone rings. It's her friend on the phone. And, she starts saying, and I was listening in, and she was going, yeah, just met a guy on the train. I'm thinking, yeah, that's true enough. She goes, yeah, he was a good-looking guy. I thought, you're having a laugh, love. To be honest. Because I was looking at him, and she said to her friend, he looks a bit like tennis player Boris Becker. I thought, you should be so lucky. Frankly, because I saw him, he had awful facial hair, if that's what makes him look like Boris Becker. A terrible little goatee beard, it was laughable. I thought, I don't know, and then she goes to think, and she's like, yeah, I met him, we got chatting and stuff, you know, and she was going, it's not often that you meet someone, you know, generally in life, who's, you know, kind of thoughtful and intelligent and funny. I thought to myself, I'm not even gonna waste my time with you, love. Frankly, if that's what you thought of him.
You just walked away.
And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even bother talking to her.
No, you were
I
just
didn't even
above
waste
it.
my time with her.
If she thinks that bloke is not
If
only
she thought
great
he was
looking,
funny,
but
great
funny
looking-
and intelligent, and she got on well, and he was polite, and it was a chance meeting, and he thought, and she thought that you were like a freaky looking dork who didn't even have the nerve to
If
speak.
that is what
if that's
she
what
was
she thinks,
thinking,
then
I
she's
don't
not-
wanna know her.
I couldn't, you walked away, and good luck to you.
And I have my dignity intact.
Yes, and she's nothing. Travis, Flowers in the Window on XFM 104.9. Well, coming to that time when we do White Van Man.
Absolutely, with producer Karl.
And Carl's also going to be telling us his slant on fables, on Aesop.
Absolutely.
I was out with Karl. I know I shouldn't be.
Yeah, well, I broke the rule as well.
I know.
night.
Well, I was out with him the night before, I think, and we were just chatting. And as you know, we're going to Edinburgh for a week.
Yeah, that's all three of us.
That's all three of us, yeah.
It wasn't. I just wondered for a minute if there was some arrangement you two had made, like next weekend, just popping out there seeing the sights.
Yeah. No, we're going to do a week's broadcasting from the Edinburgh Festival. And, you know, and Carl's going, I bet you lie in, don't you, and all this. And I was going, well, yeah. He's going, well, he wants to be up at 9:30 and out looking at the sights, you know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, and I said, have you ever had haggis? And he went, it's black pudding in it. I went, no, it's mince. He went, I like mince. I went, yeah, but wait, it's mince in a sheep's stomach, right? And he went, what, they force feed a sheep, then kill it? Imagine that, Karl.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't make sense. They force feed a sheep mince, and then kill it till its stomach's nice and full, and they go, oh, this one's full, kill it, before it starts digesting it. Of course they don't. It's a membrane and the other one, he was talking about, like, he likes Richmond Park. He goes, I like to see all the deers. I went, it's deers, plural, you don't need to say deers. I try and educate whenever I can.
What's that one?
I said,
deer is already plural.
Yeah, deer is plural. I said, that, you know, like sheep or fish, so you can say fishes. And we were laughing at it. I said, do you know the, plural of, mongoose? Because a lot of people think it would be mongoose. It's not, it's mongooses. Do you know what Karl said?
Plural of mongoose.
Mongoose, yes.
Plural of mongoose.
It's worth a competition. No, it's not, no.
No, go on.
Karl, what did you think the plural of mongoose was?
Mongs.
Play a record after this White Van Man.
Do you want to play,
Oh, let's play a bit of Dylan, yeah. This is a beautiful track. It's Just Like a Woman. Well, I think that's a beautiful record. It's by Bob Dylan, and it's Just Like a Woman. And Karl went, he's got his headphones on, so he's speaking a bit loud.
The harmonica's playing.
In a whiny mank accent, when the harmonica's going, that's an annoying sound, Matt, isn't it? God.
Oh, bless
Bob Dylan there. An annoying sound there.
did you hear about...
The annoying sound of Bob Dylan. That could be a new album.
Yeah.
Just that sort of sound always reminds me of, a one-man band.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story about Leo Sayer with his song One Man Band?
No?
Years ago. What year was, oh, God.
I'm in the mood for dancing.
What's the song that he did about a one-man
I'm
band?
a one-man band, it was called.
Right, yeah.
Funnily enough. Go
Yeah,
on.
he did that, one-man band, and he was playing it at the Dominion Theatre.
Yeah.
And apparently, whenever he played, he sort of sang this song, he got the audience involved. And the line in it was, I'm a one-man band.
Nobody knows or understands. Is anyone out there can lend me a hand
Right.
to my one-man
He
band?
said that, and what he used to do, he used to reach out.
Oh, yeah?
And grab people's hands, and then he'd walk down the middle. Anyway, he said, well, anyone lend me a hand? He stuck his hand out, grabbed like a hand, and was walking down. Everyone looked horrified. And some woman who had like a plastic hand, it had come off. And he was walking down the middle of like Dominion Theatre with his plastic hand in his hand. And he said, oh, it's a moment I won't forget.
He knows how to tell a story, Leo Sayer.
Right, well, it's time for White Van Man, which is where we ask Karl the questions that the Sun asks someone else.
Exactly.
It's an article in there where they ask them, you know, typical man on the street, the big questions of the day, gives them their platform, to the nation, and we think this is just too good to let out, because we only care about one person's opinion in the country now.
That's true enough, it's the K-Man, and there he is.
There he is, right.
Karl, your thoughts, please, on Kylie Minogue slagging off Britney Spears for ignoring her fans at her premiere. Are you aware of that story?
No.
She got booed at her premiere of her new film, Britney, because she'd left her fans waiting for like an hour. Some of them had travelled up from Bristol, other parts of the country.
3,000 of them.
Loads of them screaming for her. She just went straight into the theatre an hour late, just gave them a quick wave and straight in. Didn't even bother to shake their hands, sign any autographs. So they were booing.
What do you think of that, Karl?
And Kylie's obviously said that was actually outrageous, you know, and you should treat your fans with respect. What do you make of it?
So she did wave, then.
Yeah, but literally as she was walking into the theatre.
Was it raining?
No, I don't think it was.
He's like a defence lawyer.
Yeah.
Who hasn't really read the brief.
He's just winging it.
Judge's first joke, was it raining? No? Oh, shit, I was relying on that. Wasn't raining.
Was she running late for the start of the film?
Yes, but that's her own fault. I mean, the people are inside, they're not going to start the film without her. It's Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She could take some time out. You know, when Tom Cruise came here, he spent like an hour and a half shaking people's hands, talking to people on their mobile phones, all sorts. That's Tom Cruise. He's a bigger name than Britney.
I know, but
he's a smaller person, but he's a bigger name.
What do people want from people? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
an autograph, things like that, a photo.
This one's going nowhere, Steve. Is there another one?
Fair enough.
You know, it's not bad. If she had more time, she might have done it. I bet she would have done it on another day. I mean, I'm not feeling too good today.
But you're going to still take time out to sign people's autographs, surely, when you leave the building.
Yeah, there's always a bit of a crowd, isn't there?
Next.
Go on.
What do you make of New York's ex-police chief saying we need more bobbies on the beat? He's come over here, he's the guy that sorted out crime in New York City. He's come over, he said, you're going all over the place here. You need more bobbies on the beat, more policemen, a visible police presence.
There was something last week about some copper in London who was sat on a bench, and he was asleep or something. Oh, yeah. And people were like outraged because like he should be looking after, you know, England's people, not nodding off on a park bench, which is a bit daft because
they were shouting he should be looking after England's people.
Was this
the 16th century you went back to? What do you think? He should be looking after England's people.
You know, wherever he was, if he was in like a park somewhere, they were like really annoyed because he was asleep. But
sure.
The way
He'd probably undercover.
No, but the thing is, if there would have been any trouble, I'm sure he would have woke up.
Yeah.
If there was any sort of, if someone needed help and he screamed, he would have woke up. So I don't know why they were having a go at him.
Yeah. And he might not have been there at all. So you know, it was he probably have his radio turned on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Listening to Heart.
So you're not concerned then that there's not the crime's going up?
I think there's enough. I see quite a lot of them whizzing around.
Okay. You're happy then?
Yeah.
As long as you're happy, Karl.
So you don't think it's too much crime?
No.
Just the right amount of crime.
Yeah.
What about the fact that new gambling laws give Blackpool the green light to become a British Las Vegas? What do you make of that? Are you a gambler?
Little bit when I go on holiday, like going in the arcade and having a little flutter.
Sure.
What's your favourite?
I have a go on the fruit machines.
Yeah.
There's a good one called The Simpsons.
Right.
Is that your favourite?
Yeah, it's quite good.
Is that a tie-in with the TV show The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will they make Blackpool the next Vegas? I don't think so.
No, nor
Can't
do
see
I.
it happening.
No. You been to Blackpool?
Yeah.
What was it?
It's a bit rank.
Is it?
It is a bit rough.
Okay.
Needs a lot of work doing on it.
Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
Okay. And you're not worried about this encouraging gambling, generally? Gambling's not a vice you're concerned about?
If you're a gambler, you're a gambler. Do you know what I mean? If Blackpool isn't done up, they'll go somewhere else to have a flutter.
Sure.
So it's not going to make any difference.
Okay.
No.
Okay, it's really good. What do you make of the So Solid crew's Ashley Walters being jailed for 18 months? Obviously not a very good example to his young fans.
He should have got more.
Do you think?
I had a dream about him the other night.
Go on.
About the group itself.
Okay.
I had a dream that...
Were they all there? Because there's a lot of them. I couldn't remember all their faces to feature in a dream.
I had a t-shirt on.
He had etc.
Exactly,
yeah. Two of them, he had etc, yeah.
I had a t-shirt on.
You had a t-shirt on?
Yeah, and it said on my t-shirt, So Solid Poo. And I was walking down the street and they came towards me.
Wow.
And they were just about to beat me off.
That's a great dream.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing
I love that.
dream.
We've all had
30-year-old.
We've all had that anxiety dream. Oh my goodness! What if I meet the So Solid crew and I'm wearing a t-shirt that slags them off?
Oh, I don't believe it. Yeah, yeah.
So what happened? Did you get beaten up in the
It was one of them where I woke up. Do you know I've been telling you that I keep getting them things where you feel like you're falling?
Oh yeah.
It was the same sort of thing. It's
you know I'm not a real psychiatrist, don't you? You should, you know what I mean?
You do know a lot about a lot.
Yeah, I do, thanks very much.
And, you know, if I'm at home talking to Suzanne about something and I don't know the answer, I think, right, I'll ask Ricky that one, see him.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But you know that, I think you might have mentioned before that apparently if you die in a dream, it means that you're dying in real life.
Yeah, well, that's it, if you don't...
But apparently if you get beaten up by the So Solid crew in a dream, it means you're being beaten up by them in real life.
Yeah, that is true.
So you probably woke up
a lot of people have been
your face.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
So yeah, lock him up for longer.
Okay. Finally, what do you make of Halle Berry becoming the first black woman to win the Best Actress Oscar? Did you see her speech?
Got on my nerves.
Did it?
I mean, you know, it's good that she won. You know, it's nice for anyone to win an award.
Yeah.
But she did go on a bit. And, you know, I've been in that same sort of position.
What? Claiming an Oscar?
Well, I got, what they used to do at school is,
Okay.
if you did a full month without being off, you got a gold certificate.
Okay.
And I did a month once without having a day off. And
Sure.
I went up, and I didn't make a fuss.
You didn't start crying.
Can't play a record, mate.
Well done, though. Were you the first kid in your school to do that?
I don't think anyone else got the certificate. It was only because I was never in. They tried to encourage me.
It was just for you. They mounted an entire ceremony just to encourage you.
Wise words there from Bella Sebastian on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Matchin. Hi, Steve.
Well, I mean, it is indeed wise words, Rick. I'm worried that people are going to get out of the office now and into the sunshine and not be listening to the show.
There's always the transistor radio.
That's true enough. You're heading down to the park. Take
well,
it along.
it is time.
Keep it low, though. Don't want to irritate other people.
No, I know, yeah. And if you do want to irritate him, spit on him, it's better.
Exactly.
And kick them and throw little rocks.
Exactly.
With me, Karl, came on Pilkington. We're into this, way into the second month of the education of Karl. As you know, Karl got 1 GCSE in history and E. And, we've been cramming, haven't we?
Oh, Rick, before you mention that, can
go
I
on.
just say something? Obviously we always do this thing with the Sun, White Van Man, where we read this thing out from the Sun and query, Karl. And I was out with some friends last night, and my friend Dan always listens to the show, and he said, Karl, you know, I love the bit when you answer the questions in the Sun. Why, do you ever know what the questions are before they're asked, or is that your first answer? And, Karl said, no, that is it. They don't let me see what the questions are first. They don't show them to me, and I always get really anxious and get really paranoid. And I was just wondering, have you seen the error there, Karl? Have you seen the mistake you've been making? Right? You're worried that you don't get the questions beforehand, right?
Well, how could you
maybe combat that, do you think?
How could you combat that if you're really nervous, you know, coming
Maybe
up
you wanted
like-
to sort of have some views or ideas beforehand.
It's your error, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's your show. If you want to like take a chance with me.
No.
So
His
that's
point
not
is
the
this: that if you're really worried about it, how could you get hold of those questions in advance? Is there any way you could get hold of those questions in advance?
Yeah, but is it always in today's? Is it always in Saturdays?
Yes.
So they don't do that every day of the week?
They do, but I always take it from this Saturday.
Right, well, yeah, I could, but that would cost me money. I'm not on enough as it is
Sure.
working here on a Saturday.
Okay.
How much is the Sun?
30p.
Yeah, well...
You're not made of money.
I
understand.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 40p on a Saturday. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you were studying Aesop's fables, weren't you, this week? Now, I'm going to be very liberal here and let you talk about it. It's not a test. I'm not, hey man, just like chill out. I'm not this like rigid sort of, box in society. Just tell us your views. Just tell us your vibe on Aesop. Tell us something. What have you learnt from his fables?
He, made a bit of money out of something that's quite simple.
Yeah, I don't know if he did make any money out of it. I mean, you know, I think it was published like thousands of years after his death, but go on.
Yeah, they're just little stories. I mean, enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Didn't learn anything from them.
Okay. Or did you see? Because it's teaching through sort of like metaphor and analogy, and maybe it all seeps in and it's all subliminal, and maybe in a way your subconscious is teaching you.
No, it's silly, Rick. It is silly.
If the stories were done in like a real way, that there's like a man and a woman, and it's a little story that may happen to them in life, then you learn something. But it's all about, you know, a gorilla and a fox are walking through the woods. How often does that happen?
Sure. So you're saying if it was more like
if it was more true to life,
If it was more like,
maybe,
if it was
maybe
more
makes
like
of yours.
real stories, like, you know, a kid on his grifter and a magpie pecking at his head, or two frog boys with webbed hands. I mean, if it was real stories from real life
that people could believe, actually happened,
maybe, you know, it would teach us something.
But why not do that? Like, take a real situation, say like the So Solid Crew guy,
yes,
going down for carrying a gun. Use that in some way. Do you know what I mean?
As a warning, maybe about carrying guns.
What about something like if you carry guns and that is illegal, you could have some sort of punishment?
Yeah, that's
Good.
So
Good, that's what
it
you
doesn't
mean,
bother
yeah.
you then that the fact that these fables have been used for many, many generations to educate maybe young children or even older people, the fact that they've served a brilliant function and they've become classics, that doesn't bother you? You've seen through them?
Well, they don't always work.
Okay.
When I was out with Rick the other day, he brought one up.
Oh, I told him the one about the two mice, the industrious mouse, who, throughout the summer, he would be storing berries, nuts and berries, and he'd be storing it, and the other mice would just be eating off the trees and running around and having a laugh, and they go, well, you're going to become hungry. They go, oh, I'll worry about that when it comes to it. And they'd do that, and he'd be storing his nuts and berries, and autumn came, and the mouse was still playing and not doing anything, and then winter came, and the silly mouse was, like, shivering, and he went and knocked on the mouse's door, and went, I'm freezing and I'm starving, and the clever mouse said, well, I told you, didn't I? You know, you should have been storing your nuts through winter like I did. Come in and share mine. You know. And, what did you say, Karl?
Well, and the moral of that is whatever.
Yeah, you know, sort of, you know, just be careful. But my thing is that it's not very good, because the moral of that is do what you want, and there's always a do-gooder, a share there.
Yeah, that's right, sure.
Yeah.
But the way I think, which is more sort of 2002, the ending should have been, you know, the guy with all the berries should have, like, been, like, going, oh, I'll be alright come the winter. I've got loads of food, I'll be safe. But then, as he's going into his little hut at the beginning of the winter, some sort of bus or something comes and kills him.
Right.
And it's like...
You should have partied hard, because you
Yeah.
might die.
Yeah. Enjoy life whilst you've got it.
Yeah. Okay, and if winter comes, just starve to death.
Well, you know, worry about tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
That's
See,
my
I'm
little
wondering
fable.
if there's a new book here. I really am wondering if there's a Karl's Fables.
He's been coming out with some all week. He keeps going, well, that's a fable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your favourite fable in there? Have you learned anything from this book? To get, you know, is there one fable you liked?
Yeah, I mean,
What
they're
did you
all,
like?
they're all alright.
What did you like?
You're throwing it on me now, there.
Didn't you like one about a crab, you said?
No, that was the one about messing about on a cliff edge or something. Don't
What-
mess about on a cliff edge. Well,
What was that?
I don't know. There's not many around here, so I didn't take much interest in that one. You know what I mean?
God.
Um,
I'm doing my best here. I'm
You don't
dying.
remember
yeah,
any?
here's one.
Go
Yeah,
on.
here's one that was quite nice. There was a belly, you know, like your stomach.
Yeah.
And it's this belly on a pair of legs, and the legs was saying, "I'm more important than you because I carry you around," and the belly said, "Yeah, but you know, if it weren't for me holding all this food, you wouldn't have the energy to walk around."
Yeah.
And that means, like, you know, rather than working on your own, it's best to work in a team.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the one similar to that I was taught when I was little was a vision of heaven and hell, and it went down to hell, and in hell, right, there was these people had like 20-foot long chopsticks,
yeah.
and they were getting their food, and they couldn't get the chopsticks into the food and get it round to their mouth because they were just too long.
Right.
Right, and that was hell. And in heaven, they had exactly the same thing, but they were feeding each other.
What? Right.
You don't like Chinese food? Is that what you're concerned? Is that what your concern is, Karl?
No, I'm just...
The one I remember, I can't remember the ending of it. It's about two nuns in a bath.
Yeah, oh, I know.
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that
it,
one?
yeah.
Or are they on a bike?
That's two adventures. It's the same nuns, but they
the
go
same
through all
nuns.
sorts of adventures.
They're normally quite erotic adventures.
Well, they are. There was one where they're driving down a cobbled street, I remember.
Oh, go on.
And then there's the other. Then, of course, they get Whalebones on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant,
Hello
and
there.
Karl. Well, Karl, I really don't think you got your teeth into the fables. Really, I don't think you.
There wasn't anything to learn. I read a couple, thought, yeah, that's alright, and put it down again. There wasn't anything to learn. It was all stuff I knew already. But made up with nice little foxes and bears and stuff. So,
Yeah. But that one about, like, that one we spoke about, like, when the hares are going, we should share all our food, and the lion said, that's a good argument, but it hasn't got the teeth and claws that we've got. That's lovely. Because it's sort of like, you know, that's an indictment on sort of, you know, you could say it's an anti-equality almost, you know, you could get really sort of deep into that. You know what I mean? You could, no?
Big
All right.
philosophical ideas in a nutshell. Not interesting?
no, not really.
Okay.
Okay then, well, you're going to hate this then. I've brought in the concise Oxford Dictionary of Quotations. Now, just look at some of your favourites. I'd suggest going straight to things like Wilde, or Newton, or Churchill, or
You're a big fan of
Keats.
Churchill.
Yeah.
like
Oh
Keats.
well, he's the boy. Yeah. Like, right, okay. Let's go through that old Kramer. Blah, blah. Newton. Right. Right. Here's a famous one. Okay. This is Isaac Newton. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants.
Do you like that one?
So there's a meaning in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he hasn't actually stood on the shoulders of giants.
So remember, he's an amazing inventor and mathematician, and he discovered the incredible laws of the universe. And he's saying, yeah,
If you want a good view, move into a multi-story.
he's saying, right? He's saying, if I have seen further than the people, and he's being modest here, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants to get that view.
If it weren't for all the people that have come before him with their great insight and knowledge, he wouldn't have seen what he's seen.
He's taken his learnings, and those people have given
Why
him
just say that? Instead of making up, that's what I've got a problem with. People don't say what they mean.
Poetry, art, and
In life, though, people never say what they actually mean, and there's loads of books on it. I don't know.
But the point is that he's just summarised quite a tricky idea, beautifully.
It's beautiful. That gets into you much deeper than just the words, just the literal words. You know what I mean?
One of my favourites is from an American novelist, and the quote is talking about the subject of fame and being famous. Fame is a mask that eats into the face. Don't you think that's amazing?
Meaning?
Well, meaning that fame is something that is artificial, that you wear initially, you become famous, but it's ethereal, it's nothing, it's intangible, it's just an artifice. But if you stay famous long enough, you begin to think that mask you're wearing is really your real face. So that you begin to, think that you are more than you perhaps are. Do you see what I mean? In the way that fame and power can corrupt.
I know who said that.
No, it's an American novelist, I forget his name.
Yeah, it's alright, yeah, there's something in that.
Yeah.
Okay. Pick another one, right?
Yeah, let's have a look. Bernard Shaw, he's no slouch.
I think maybe when you take this book of quotations home, Karl, you should maybe just draw up maybe a list of 3 or 4 of your favourites and tell them next week.
I want to do Shaw, Wilde, I look at Shakespeare as well, he's...
Are you a fan of Shakespeare?
No.
Go on, what's your problem with it?
Just, the way they speak. I can't follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like West Side Story?
It's really old as well. I can't relate to it. It's like years and years ago, isn't it? That's why I like Churchill. Because
1940s.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is Shaw. Okay. There are 2 tragedies in life. One is not to get your heart's desire. The other is to get it.
Again, how would you see that in your little?
Well, that's one homework then. I'll mark that. That's your homework. You've got to work that out. You've got to tell me what you think of it.
Say again?
Don't ask Suzanne. It's there. Right. There are 2 tragedies in life. One is not to get your heart's desire. The other is to get it. Okay? Take that home with you. And we'll be hearing Karl come up with some amazing quotations next week.
Yeah, pick out your favourites.
Now I'd like to play a song for the lovers while he's thinking.
No, I don't think we've got the lovers lined up.
Oh, what have we got?
Bit of hip-hop. It's hip-hop hooray.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, everyone's a big fan. I played something from this last week. It's this new album from Nerd, In Search Of. It's been re-recorded by the lads, I don't know why. And anyway, it's particularly good. We played last week Things Are Getting Better. This is the one we have played with in the past, actually. Bobby James.
Doves, there goes The Fear on XFM 104.9. Well, just read that book anyway. Could I just say, this is one of a beautiful, is Keats, right? What do you think of this? A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness.
See, this is just like how it was at school now. The last couple of weeks I've been quite interested in what you've been giving me. Now it's really like,
okay.
I really don't care.
Now what about this? Now
I'm
I did philosophy, and philosophy is obviously the quest for knowledge, and it's look, listen to this though. This is what Keats came out with. Philosophy will clip an angel's wings. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Don't be constrained by what's, dream a little, you know what I mean? Just go beyond. I don't agree with it, but it's a lovely bit of poetry.
Yes.
Yeah? So you're gonna read that for me, are you, Karl? Yeah?
Just pick out 5 of your favourites.
Yeah.
The ones that mean something to you.
And then next week I'll bring you in pictures of animals.
Brilliant.
Okay?
We'll do it.
Okay, and some sweets.
Rick, I've had a word with some of the top brass here. Or they had a word with me in the corridor. If you remember when we started...
Did they say, who are you?
Pretty much, yeah. Oi, 4 eyes.
Yeah.
And, no, they said they were saying that, obviously enjoy the show, they love it. And They're just worried though that in the early days when we started the show, remember we were a lot more informative. We used to do the film reviews, there was things like the gig guide and stuff like that. Sure. Which we've kind of let go by the step of the wayside.
Yeah, they want us to bring that.
Well, exactly. So I just wanted
No. The gig guide. I was worried that, funnily enough, the XFM gig guide does not include some of the biggest bands in the world,
Okay, all right.
or some of the best venues. That's what worried me.
Look, Rick, just do what you're told, all right? There's the gig guide. It's got
got better?
It's got a lot of big names on it.
impressed?
You're going to love the gig guide.
I need
this
a bet if this is going to be pretty
week.
impressive.
Let's play the proper jingle.
Okay. Tonight, if you want to see these two bands in a small venue, get down to the Metro Bar on Oxford Street. Doors are at 8 p.m. and tickets are only £6 to see 10 Benson and Beach Buggy. Alright? Now, if you missed Longwave, supporting the Strokes at Brixton Academy last night, you can catch them headlining Casino Royale at the Monarch.
Rick, I missed them last night. How much will I be paying for that?
You'll only be paying £5, right? But listen, they're also supported by Shelby and I Remember Nothing.
Brilliant.
Now, people know about the Brixton Academy, but a little-known venue in Brixton is the Windmill. And you're going to see 3 great bands there tonight. Guapo, Plonkes, and Mechanical Beatles Never Quite Warm. So, Orange Goblin and Grand Magus play the garage, and, Diefenbach and Sudden play the Row Tar Sessions at Nine Hills Arts Club. So that's the gig guide on XFM.
What a load of rubbish. I mean, switch off the jingle. Look at this. We've discussed this before, haven't we? Names for bands that will never be anything.
Ladies and gentlemen,
please welcome to the stage, Mechanical Beatles, Never Quite Warm. Please welcome to the stage, Plankweth. Please welcome to the stage, Orange Goblin. Oh, goodness me. Look at it.
Oh, God. Orange Goblin. Orange Goblin.
It's so rubbish.
What's his name? Got a fake town, hasn't he? That one of his supermarket sweet. What's his name?
Dale Winton.
Dale Winton, yeah.
Supporting R.E.M. I Remember Nothing. Never gonna happen. I mean, please, come on, people, think.
Hey, here's a band that plays big venues. Doesn't make them better, sure, but this is Radiohead. This is Song for the Lovers and Let Down off OK Computer. This is beautiful. See, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Doesn't that move you at all, Karl? Philosophy will clip an angel's wings.
There was an old lady from Ealing
who was putting Radiohead. Let Down off OK Computer. Apparently we missed a gig on that gig guide. Drip Feed are playing the Rock Garden on the 21st of this month.
Excellent.
So the lead singer just called in with that. He also left a quote with me. Apparently Coleridge said of Keats, wasn't it? He's like an archangel, slightly damaged.
Rick, I'm worried we're getting a little bit highbrow.
Do you reckon?
Have you got any knob gags you could do quickly? Because I'm just thinking we're switching. There's a lot of people who are going to be turning off. I mean, currently on Capital FM, Chris Tarrant and Dr. Neil Fox together at last. The partnership we've always wanted.
They said it would never happen. Do you know what I'd like to see together? That breakfast DJ, Sarah
Cox.
And who's the dancer? Karl.
That'll be Karl Cox.
Karl, please, why are you suddenly saying these rude words? You've been reprimanded once, Karl,
don't say
please.
that, and don't say it so aggressively, because it sounds like you're saying Cox aggressively.
Come on, we've been reprimanded.
Yeah.
Alright? Just don't use language like that.
It's annoying me.
Come on.
Why is it annoying you? We're talking about DJs, that's their names.
But you try to be clever.
I hardly think that's clever.
You've given me
Yeah, if that's my best attempt at being clever.
I've got rubbish homework this week.
Okay, he's really upset about
really
this.
Upset.
He was looking forward to animal fat.
You said you were going to bring in that big book, 500
It's
animal
so... I got it off one of those bargain books. I thought it'd be easy, right? Because but it's too elementary.
No, but that's more useful than that to me.
But it's things like the tortoise has a shell to protect it.
That's good.
Yeah, but you know...
Because you thought it was there just to be painted on the tip.
Oh, have you ever peeled a tortoise? They fly, they go about 400 miles an hour. It's to weigh them down because they're the fastest lizards known to man.
Exactly.
Honestly, they run so fast they can go through walls.
Yeah.
And so their shells put on them in the hospital, in the maternity ward, at a very early age, just slow them down. You let a tortoise shell and you won't catch it.
Steve, do you know that turtles can breathe out the bum?
Turtles can breathe out of their bum? I know someone who can talk out of it, but didn't realise that.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that. How do they do that?
That's all I know. When they go swimming, they can sort of, if they don't want to stick their head out, they can just
stick their arse out.
Why don't they want to stick their head out?
Just if I don't know, maybe they need to be looking for food under the water.
Yeah.
And if they stick their head up to get some air, they might miss something.
Wouldn't it be easier to have an arse that could forage for food? So they could sort of like lounge in the pool like a jacuzzi, and they're looking around going, alright, hello, hiya, and meanwhile its arse is like munching grass.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be easier?
Bad breath.
Well,
I wish I understood what that meant.
yeah.
In all this
It's like a
hilarity,
quote, isn't it?
but in all that this hilarity, I'm worried we've forgotten the true meaning of Easter. No, come on, Rick, come on. You're just, you're being frothy and lightweight and a little bit rude, but it's a time for remembering
And chocolate.
that someone did die for our sins.
Yeah.
So can we just
Be ashamed to disappoint him.
can we just think about that and just take a moment just to consider that?
Yeah, can we do that?
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You understand the true meaning of Easter? It's not just about eggs and bunnies. You understand it, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your memory of it? What's your understanding of it, Carl?
What do you-
Easter. What's it all about for you?
What do you have to do at school? Do you have to do anything at school?
I think we got a long weekend off.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they call that weekend?
Easter weekend.
Brilliant.
Okay. And what was the reason for that? Why do we have Easter weekend off?
Jesus.
Yeah. But what did he do?
He put himself on the cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, he didn't put himself on.
no.
Does it mean anything to you? Are you moved by that story?
Again, too long ago for me to sort of,
Okay.
to
To worry
relate
about.
to it.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if there'd have been an Anderson shouter involved,
Yeah.
you'd have been there, wouldn't you? You're not well today, are you, Karl?
Not at all. Don't know
No.
what's wrong with me today. I've got a bit of a temperature.
Have you?
Do you know Steve? He's always on the go at me. Last night when we were out with his mates,
Yeah.
they said he was a bit of a hypochondriac to himself.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they say? What were they saying?
He said, I said, Steve's told me he's not feeling well. Is he alright? You live with him? He said, oh, don't worry about that.
Really?
He's always saying that, and I said, that's a bit of a fable. I said, cry wolf.
Yeah. One day I say I've got a temperature, and they go, oh, I've had the Lemsip, and he'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've learnt my lesson.
Yeah. There was one about the boy who cried wolf. The moral can surely only be never tell the same lie twice. You know what I mean? Because if he'd have come up with a different one, he'd have kept them going all year, I reckon.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that before.
What are we going to play?
A final tune. Have we? We got a bit of Suede, haven't we?
Well, it depends.
Let's get a bit of Suede and song for the ladies.
don't
Let's go
think
over.
you can't
What's
have
the?
both.
What is
The
it?
ladies
It's
is
only the
very
football. It's only the football.
Don't say that. Yeah, give us your song.
What's the football? What's the match? What's this? The gig guide is Long Wave and Guapo and Plankos. What's this? What's the football match?
on.
So what are the football matches XFM covering?
Don't know. What?
Come on.